LeBron dancing away as he pulls the creep wave. Peter Pan Dam, doesn't have his sleep, just has the brain sap at level 1, of course, so damage that he can do.
He'll just punish this as much as possible. Chase LeBron down, try and test these last hits tower. LeBron, if you can get him low enough, basically won't be able to go for too many last hits here.
See Swift ending running around. That's the Ion Shell, man. It's so annoying.
Yeah. The Draksy only has 3 last hits. I feel like every Draksy game I'm seeing is, even when he does okay, he's still not getting as many last hits as you'd hope to see on a Draksy.
We're seeing a lot of it this patch, and so maybe just people getting much more comfortable dealing with it and last hitting and getting the practice in underneath the tower and everything, so maybe something to do with it, but a nice little tip there, by the way.
I think LeBron missed the last hit or something. That's why Peter gave him the tip.
Just again, those little nudges there, reminders. I mentioned going into the first game of the series, a little bit of fire and chat was going on between the two teams, so adding another element here.
Peter's good at getting under people's skin. It's like
you don't say.
Part of the game for him. It's get that psychological advantage.
That's a big part of it, of course. That middle lane, Monkey King, we mentioned they were very confident with the Monkey King pick. The snap picked after the Huskar, and he is winning that lane now. Let's talk about Huskar, of course. It takes a little bit of time before he can start ramping up, but MK has a decent lead, at least at this point.
Yeah, it's just, I think, the second or third time I've seen teams pick Monkey King after a Huskar, feeling like it's an okay matchup. Those other games I saw, it ended up going pretty easy. Monkey King dominated, but he kind of holds his own early on, and then, you know, like you say, Huskar fashion gets a bit tougher once Huskar gets some levels.
Slark going for a kill play on the Darkseer at the bottom lane, but missing the pounce. Either way, gets them out of the lane somewhat, and go back to last in the best that he can. LeBron's wrapping around middle lane meanwhile. He's going to come in. Nice pushback initially with the inner fire, but Fata still in trouble. Thunderclap connects. Bornaya on top in. The Jingu stacks. The boundless strike. I don't think it hit Fata, but either way, it is going to be enough for the first blood. Bornaya does die in response, though, to Peter Pan Dam with a brain sap.
I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't tell if it hit, but he was going for the 2 because he wanted to get the lifesteal on both the Bane as well as the Huskar, so he could lifesteal some more. It was actually a pretty clever play, but does get the kill before going down there. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Pretty sure he didn't miss him, though. It was right behind him. Didn't see the damage or stunning, for that matter, come out. But either way, he got the kill first, so big picture, not too bad. Saksa, he's going to fall at the bottom lane, and this is not how this is supposed to go at all for NiP. Darkseer is also in trouble. He's going to go down. Swift Ending got one of those last hits at least, so he's already, in fact, he's at +2 agility now. That's, again, not as planned for NiP. Losing 2 heroes.
Yeah, this bottom lane is meant to be a lane where cause some problems and harass a lot. But that is a Slark getting off to a fantastic start with the Agi steal.
It's mid lane. Peter Pan Dam setting up. There's a double damage rune over here, which Huskar now sees, and of course it's going to make its way over to pick up, but kind of seeing the supports roaming around that middle lane on either side. We've already seen the impact as far as the earlier gank cap in, but LeBron going to be slept up. A couple of auto attacks. Should be fine. In fact, just runs in, puts that Cinderbrew down, but and Burning Spear's in a double damage rune. That's a good combo.
Yeah, they've seen that double damage too, so perhaps not quite showing the respect they should have towards Fata, but gets bailed out by a Boundless Strike, and Fata should be able to start getting some bit of a CS advantage.
3-3 again, getting somewhat low, but got the boars to protect him. Swift Ending having to fall back. In fact, he's being heavily slowed with the Ion Shell ticking away, but I guess he has a, well, he has a target. He doesn't have a pounce. Yeah, he's dead. They actually just run him down with the Ion Shell. So no pounce, a longer cooldown this early level. Cannot get away.
Yep, this is, yeah, the double Ion Shell, these melee heroes that can just kind of run in, or slows. This is how NiP want to be playing this lane. And good job kind of turning it around after Slark gets those earlier kills.
And this is more like it as the levels have added up. This is more of NiP and what they hoped for. How the game would play out, so at least at the bottom lane. You look at the middle matchup, obviously Huskar is pulled ahead a bit. Again, goes back to as the levels start looking better. Level 5 now. Understandable there, 12 denies with those 27 last hits. Sand King, haven't mentioned too much about him though, by the way. He is topping the charts right now at the top lane. far as his CS is concerned.
Yeah, he's not really being pressured too much because of the lane, but Spectre at the same time, well, actually hasn't been pressured too much either. 25 last hits for Ace is a good sign that, NiP can perhaps get this Spectre online with Haunt, start looking for some setups where you use that Haunt to find some early kills, and that's going to be, to a certain extent, what they want to play around.
You think we're going to see that early blink on Sand King, considering he's going up against Spectre, or will he still go more of like a 4-staff to Rums even?
I think he's probably going to just tank up, get like a Vanguard, maybe even a Hood this game. He's got one Bracer, but I don't think the blink has huge value this game.
Yeah. Keep an eye on what he does go for there. Spectre, also the other question. I know Draksy was pointing out there on the panel during the draft how doesn't really expect to see a radius, because if anything, it would be way too slow to pick up from the Spectre here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you don't plan on getting it right now, at least. You got to wait to see how the game goes a bit.
Soxa gets found.
Yep, that's his third stolen Agi this game, so very active early on, and finding these kills, these small little bits of Agi really add up.
Yeah, it's already supposed to be a weak laner, but getting kills, of course, helps amplify the farm, but even more so for Slark in that, with the permanent agility that he gets from being involved in said kills. So really go back to that's what NiP does not want to be doing when it comes to this bottom lane, but Swift Ending, got to give him credit, of course, as far as accomplishing that well. He's going to have a double Wraith Band here early on.
Yeah, LeBron's been really stand out once again. Like his movement and rotations on the map, we saw it when he played Tiny. We're seeing it here on the Brewmaster. He's the one every time they get, because he's. Other than this time it's the Monkey King.
Oh, well, 3-3 is trying his best to get away, but Surge wears off, and he's just going to put another Ion Shell down before accepting death right there. So let's just say yet another agility added to Slark. At top lane, Ace being manned up against LeBron. He's just going to run at him. And with the Burrow Strike stun and the Sandstorm put down, Ace is in trouble. Puts out a dagger, going to help him run away. And he has a salve even to pop back up, but getting a little scared there.
He's not even going to pop it. He TP's home. I think maybe thinking he can haunt himself out too. Maybe asking his team, can we set up a kill anywhere? Because when you're singing Fountain, you don't have TP, you kind of want to use that. He's going to just walk back to lane for now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. In fact, we are going to see him use it in the middle lane. They try to get Monkey King, but he leaps away in time. And now Ace is finding himself here with the team. So he has an Ion Shell on him. Of course, a little bit of use, so wears off there. But instead, they're just going to pressure that mid-tier 1, which this early on in the game, the most important tower, of course, to take out, as we talked about many times. So you take a look at the odds popping up there. So slight advantage for NiP, but again, if you look back, especially at the beginning of the series, EPG most certainly closed that gap. Again, you head over to es.bet. You can put a bet on said odds if you like them. Take advantage of the insurance currently going on for the WePlay Winter Madness Tournament, es.bet. But mid-tower goes down for NiP. Sox or Ace with the last hit.
I mean, very little separating the teams. The gold here at 10 minutes in is pretty negligible, and there is a Spectre in the game who's one of those, kings of late game Dota, so you have to kind of respect what NiP's draft can do if this game drags, but realistically, EPG's draft comes online at the 15-minute stage.
Top lane, LeBron slept up. Ace able to run at him. Sleep's taken off. And Ace, being that he's by himself especially, easily runs him down. Gets that kill, so nice find there. 10-minute bounty runes coming up. Font already positioning to take this one. And this time it's going to be all NiP. Once again.
The NiP Classic, I feel like they're better than like any other team, for at least from getting maximum numbers of bounty runes.
Font also finding the Invis rune as he head towards the mid lane now. Finding Bornaya, jumps on him with the life break, but he's able to Primal Spring. Okay.
At that time, yeah, he was already mid-cast to get onto the Vata flew out, so luckily for him, he escapes.
Funky interaction there. Does get out, so Huskar top of the charts, but quietly, I go back to Sand King is still up there and feeling comfortable. Don't know exactly what he has just yet. Wouldn't be surprised though if, like you mentioned, the Vanguard early on, or even the Hood.
At this point, you might just want to get a blink. There we go. He gets a blink.
Okay.
I think they're lacking playmakers, and Brewmaster's support is not going to off Blink Dagger or anything. So as much as it's not like amazing Blink game and tanking up is nice, and you're playing against Spectre, your team's kind of maybe feeling like you're not doing enough right now. You're against Spectre and you're not playing fast-paced Dota, and the Blink Dagger will give you playmaking opportunities.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So has it, and is still at the top lane, but he is TPing bottom now. I was going to say, you want to make a play with that right away, ideally. And sure enough, they come bottom now. Peter Pan Am, not the biggest target, but 3-3 is much bigger. They're trying to go for him. Primal Spring doesn't connect, though. Out comes the Surge, so they will find Bane in the end. But he just plays that distraction again for Darkseer to make it out. So for your debut of the Blink Dagger especially, not the most ideal kill, but again, at least they got something.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because their lineup doesn't really push towers that get these kills with exactly force objectives. That's definitely one of the downsides of having the Slark plus Monkey King on their team. They're kind of good at these mid-game brawls, but not good at actual objectives.
And Shell's going up on the wave, but you got Mitch is still hanging around. He's got to the epicenter. Obviously, he wants to make another play with it, but NiP is too smart for this. They're just going to abandon this bottom lane for now until they maybe see the Sand King, if anything, because again, they're aware that he has the Blink Dagger. And they're smoked up, actually. That's 3.
They might bait the rune. Yeah, they look like they're baiting it.
Look at that, Mitch. He's going in. He realizes at the last second he got the Sandstorm off, but it doesn't matter. They had a sentry.
Nicely played. A little bit of bait play. Mask of Madness Spectre, so Ace, it's one of these items he loves to get. Sure, it was something that would make a lot of sense. I think it's just a comfort item. He loves to farm the jungle. Spectre can just sit jungle, farm Ancients, and then haunt in when to join. So
okay.
It suits his playstyle very well.
Yeah, and you could argue, again, much more of an active tool as well as far as fighting when it calls for it. And speaking of that, I guess it calls for it. Haunt is going to be used. Looks like he's going for the mid lane with that, trying to get the kill. Bornaya with the mischief play. Almost got him out of there, but not enough. So Peter Pan Am, credit for the kill. You look at the bottom lane, back down here. They're defending the tower, at least tried to, but it was taken out by NiP. So 3,000 net worth lead. I'll tell you that this Spectre pick, again, we're kind of scratching our head a little bit, a couple of question marks, but NiP, they have a decent lead, especially with the Spectre lineup this early on in the game. So they got to be feeling good.
Yeah, normally you expect a Spectre lineup to be kind of falling behind early on, but just making some better moves. They kind of fake out EPG, pretending that they're pushing bottom, so Monkey King thinks he's safe, and the issue is all it takes is one hero, Bane, to roam to the mid lane, get a grip, and suddenly there's a haunt, so it's Bane plus Spectre. Didn't quite have enough damage without the brain sap, but still they get the kill.
Just another walk in the park.
This PPD things, he'll die for this. Whatever.
Even a wall going down, jeez. I don't know how necessary that was from 3-3, but doing what they can to save PPD, and there's the response tip.
I'm not sure that tip bothers PPD too. Probably thinking, like, you guys just curious to... I'm okay with this, he says.
Huskar elsewhere is farming away, of course, on the Ancients. He's got the Halberd queued up. 1,600 gold saved up, in fact, towards it, so well on the way towards it, but is, in fact, top farm in the game. In fact, you look at the net worth overall, all three are very, very good spots. Slark just barely overtaking the Darkseer there, but obviously favoring NiP once again. And Mech is finished now on Darkseer as well. Another item to take advantage of as far as more of the group fighting goes. Monkey King. Guess who it is? It's Peter Pan Am once again. So he's going for the 15-minute batting ram, baited him in. Bornaya gets caught with the Primal Roar. Out comes the Witcher's Curse on a Saksa. He's taking some damage, not nearly enough. More of a crowd control, if anything. Sleep on himself as in comes the epicenter from Mitch. So they'll take out both supports. But now Huskar, he would be the big kill. Fata, can he make it out? Doesn't look like it. He's being locked down. The pushback with the inner fire, but the regen not nearly enough. And Monkey King gets credit for the kill. So well played by EPG, and definitely a fight they needed to start climbing back in.
Yeah. They had such good vision for that one. I think they finally caught on NiP bounty rune strat, where it's like every time there's bounty runes, they're bringing in, several heroes to contest the hard to get bounty runes. I was like, 3 heroes up there. Spectre didn't really engage with the team. I think once Ace realized it was a bad fight, he just stood back. But they put 2 observer wards, one in the river, one on the high ground cliff at that top bounty rune, just to make sure they could secure it and get those kills. So really nice call from EPG to kind of put an end to NiP's shenanigans.
Yeah, see the wards up there. Great vision. One just wearing off, actually. That was at the top tier 1 tower. But you look at Sand King and the way he's built, and we mentioned, of course, the early Blink Dagger, but now he is going towards a Crimson Guard in full, so no doubt a nice item to take advantage of utility-wise. Smoke play for NiP, and it's a smoke and a Roshan strat now. This is scanned out. It got scanned immediately.
Ooh. Well, no epicenter. I guess that's partly why they went, and no primal split. But we'll see if EPG can test this with what they've got. They're
distracting PPD, and good at that. He's going to sleep himself even, but eventually goes down after, so it's not going to be a Roshan kill just yet. Haunt is activated. Soxa, though. He's caught by the Winter's Curse with Fata beating into him, doing plenty of damage. Again, does stay alive, however. Still has his Primal Roar. Fata, life break in. Mitch manages to Burrow Strike out, though. Only death is Wyvern so far on their side. Mitch is getting low on the Sand King, however, and something tells me, yeah, the Primal Roar just to make sure to get the kill on him. So they do secure it. They're going to get Bornai as well. As it looked a little grim there initially. I mean, EPG was fighting strong, but you mentioned a couple of cooldowns lacking, and that showed.
Yeah, I know it was a really good wall. He caught 3. The big ulti's lacking. Not having Primal Split more than anything. Epicenter is also a pretty big one. And yeah, EPG, unless they get like a perfect Winter's Curse on multiple heroes and then like drop Monkey King's ultimate on it. Monkey didn't even get his ulti out. They're not going to win that.
Bane. Sark going to get some plus agility for him. Trying to. There we go. Might go a little further than expected, maybe. In fact, now Swift Bending's in trouble. The Iron Shell ticking him down. Doesn't have much life to work with. Does not have a Shadow Dance either yet. I see the lift up there on a Huskar, but he's brought back down after killing Wyvern. Bordias back into the fight. Wukong's going to be popped for this, so a reset now for EPG. And they are ready to clash once again. 3-3 goes down. The lift up again, this time on a Huskar. I guess it was before as well, so they're going to be able to follow this up. There's the pushback, but the jump in from Mitch with the barrel strike. Wild Axis thrown through from Soxa. Not going to be nearly threatening enough, though. And Fata, again, the region. Oh, it is enough. The Armlet talk about the last second. He stays alive. They did not want to over-pursue. That is curious to me. They really got scared of something.
I think just having the Aegis, they don't want to... Maybe not worth risking him getting that, like, toggle off and then turning around on you, so... They decide not to commit just for an Aegis, but... It's still maybe a bit too safe for EPG. They're giving NiP a lot of room to continue to farm on the Spectre, who almost has a Mantis.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the Aegis logic, but at the same time, yeah, at least getting the Aegis spent, man, so you don't have to deal with it later on, because that really seemed like a free chance for it, but they got intimidated. Something really just spooked them. Hale turned around and did not want to overdo it, so big picture.
The reassuring thing is this is an Aegis that's not like looking to, you know, go high ground in the game. It's kind of just a farming Aegis, so it's not really a big threat which needs to be removed from the game. You can kind of just avoid it and play around it right now.
+9 agility on Sark already, by the way.
That seems like a lot of agi. Yeah, for 19 minutes in, that's you know, it's like a, I think, doesn't Sark have like a +10 agi talent or something? It's a, I don't know. But
it's a strength talent at level 10, I think. But
okay. But yeah, he's off to a very good start. We'll have to see if he can kind of keep up. The issue is he's going to not really be able to have the same amount of net worth as the Spectre if they're going to start getting kills onto Ace or anything.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Halberd finished on Huskar there. He's working on that for a little bit, but getting delayed slightly because of only action that was happening. What are your thoughts on the Diffusal Blade pickup from Monkey King? It's this kind of first big item that he chose to get here. Why do we think Diffusal's good?
It's, you come online fast with this. It's like a good early game fight.
Vacuum. No wall follow-up. The follow-up from Huskar, but now he's beating down 3-3 because of the Winter's Curse. Primal Split also used. Wukong throwing down on top. Perfect setup coming out for EPG. And they're going to lose 3 heroes, including the Aegis. So obviously, Huskar's coming back up, but he's in a horrible spot. Bane's going to be lifted up in the backlines from Brewmaster. Pushback from Fata and the disarm. So it's keeping alive at the time being. Mitch stuns through, though. Buyback from Beastmaster. Fata still beating down. The Heaven's Halberd helping as well, no doubt. So they kill the Brewmaster, and it looks like EPG is finding a retreat. I was going to say cut their losses, but they definitely, you know, won that fight. They're going to lose Wyvern as well. But again, they got the Aegis, they got 2, and a buyback even.
Peter almost got the grip on the Slack, but good Dark Pact usage, and then he pounces away as the grip pass is coming out. So, when you can see what EPG can do, when they have these ultimates, land a person. The Burrow Strike, the Monkey King ultimate, the Brewmaster split, that team fights are going to look really good for them. But luckily for NiP, the Aegis kind of salvages that and makes it at least a kind of acceptable fight. Considering both Spectre and Husker survived through it, they actually don't mind how that fight went too much, I imagine.
Well, net worth again, NiP continues to look a little bit better for them. How about that choice there, by the way? Slark rushing a Silver Edge.
It's, breaking against the Spectre as well as Husker.
Very true.
Be very effective this game.
That makes sense. So he has that break effect now. Like you said, especially against Spectre, but yeah, even Huskar, very good against those two. He's got over here Aces farming out a little bit of the Ancients. I saw the Mantis doll, I think, purchased on him, so yeah, he has that in full now. Go with the Mask of Madness. Earlier on in top farm. Is a bounty rune coming up? Nope, they're just fighting in the area, just warding positioning. That's been a very popular ward spot for both teams, up in the top part of the map.
Yeah, a lot of it is because of how it plays around Roshan, but the bounty runes as well, which are pretty key objective. And a lot of the action has been happening around this top side of the map rather than the bottom. NiP have decided, we don't really care about pushing out this bottom lane, where Dire often, plays more in the enemy jungle, but with Spectre and the Mask of Madness, they've decided to kind of farm their own jungle and play around their side of the map this game.
Monkey King pushing out top lane. Right now, no response yet from NiP being shown. So Draksy, yeah, he has the Guardian Greaves in full. Let's get a look there on 3-3. He's had that for a little bit now. Thinking about going Medallion next, so no Blink Dagger or anything like that. And that is something that feels a little lacking on NiP's side, especially with no Blink on Draksy. Or I think Beastmaster was planning to get one soon too, but he's obviously not getting the most farm, so it's still going to be a bit. Point is, their initiation somewhat lacking, especially what they're up against.
Yeah, they're kind of hoping to almost counter-initiate. That's where Darkseer specializes. If the Winter's Curse is as good as last fight, where it catches out 3 heroes, there is no dies. The other 2 heroes get Burrow Striked, and suddenly it's, you're in a 2v5 from the start of the fight. So you've got to be careful about how you play it. Luckily for them, they had an Aegis, so it wasn't really true 2v5.
Yeah. Now the Brawn, the Vlad's finished. Sand King almost has that Crimson Guard. A good tool to fight with, but I keep looking back at the top and really in that left, that net worth chart, both Huskar and especially Spectre continue to be on top of the chart. But I mean, Slark and Monkey King, they're keeping it close. It's running away. Echo Saber queued up for Slark after the Silver Edge.
And wants to be able to get those Essence Shift charges as fast as possible at the start of the fight. Very, very cost-effective item to have. Even if it's not like the biggest late game item of sorts.
It's going back and forth here in the middle lane. There is a sentry down, so he is seen if he wants to go downhill there. I guess even uphill. Not going to capitalize on that. NiP instead going to smoke off to the side, and Draksy leads the way with that surge. Heading right towards the bottom lane, but you already see EPG's falling back for now. Once again, as if they knew this was coming. In fact, now that I look at it, that's what they might have seen it. Anyways, opening on LeBron Dota. Gold Embrace and the Curse as well throwing out. So LeBron's going to be able to get his ultimate off, most likely. He's trying, yes, at the last second. They did kill the Wyvern in the back lines, however, but Slark Pounce misses right there. He pops a Shadow Dance. He's chasing after a couple. Epicenter over here. Fanta is caught, but he jumps back in. Fanta's feeling ballsy, and that's what Huskar does. However, it's not enough. He does go down. And now back over to Slark. He has to bounce out at the last second because he was also dropping, and in fact, he falls. They also lost the Monkey King, so this fight looking very good for NiP despite losing the Huskar. Ace was doing plenty himself.
Yeah, and he's not done. He's got a dagger, so he should be able to chase down. Doesn't have an escape, and oh, really good smoke by NiP getting into that enemy jungle.
They're trying to clean this up. If they get Sand King, it would be a full cleanup here, as technically goes for the fight, but Mitch is hoping to get the other bounty rune, but in the end, he is going to blink away.
Yep.
TP.
Getting the grip on the Slark is such a key way to win a fight there. It wasn't quite the last to cancel it with a Cyclone, but I think over 3 seconds or so. And that completely destroyed the Slark there.
There's the blink now on Beastmaster, so now they have a much stronger initiation, so That fight went very well for them already. That to look forward to. Spectre, also believe I saw him by a diffusal blade. Obviously more damage, bang for your buck. And we do see that now we're starting to increase a bit now. Specifically for Spectre and what he can do. Just going to wait for another cooldown to be ready as far as Haunt goes before another engagement.
Spectre with Manta Diffusal is a lot of damage anytime. You're burning through the mana pool a lot of these heroes. Like if someone like Brewmaster suddenly can't get a split off, and if someone gets, you know, saved by a Cold Embrace, you can still burn their mana and really kind of cripple their ability to impact a fight. A Sand King or a Brewmaster without mana can't do a whole lot.
Roshan is up. NiP kind of pushing out the lanes and trying to take map control as far as in that area. You see a line being drawn up there, signifying that maybe getting some vision down as they want to attempt Roshan in the near future.
Yeah, well, once they have Haunt, they may even try and just like force a Roche fight or something, depending how they feel about their vision. I think vision's going to be the key thing for that. You don't like 4-man Winter's Cursed or something.
We've seen this multiple times. 3-3 will throw out that vacuum in top of the Sandstorm to pull out Mitch, and it does again right here. Cold Embrace is not going to save him. There's a Haunt, by the way. Swift Ending. He's too committed. He's at half-life. The Fiend's Grip lands it. Swift Ending goes down. He's out for 54 seconds. LeBron Dota also in trouble as he's in the primal split form. He's going to run away with the other Brewlings. It looks like at least keep one of them alive, but another great start for NiP. And like I said, it started with that vacuum pull in the Sandstorm. They know you're somewhere in there, and they got him.
Well, neither of those heroes have buyback, and suddenly NiP, they've got 5 up, pushing high ground, and there's only 3 EP heroes who don't have ultimates, so this may just be a melee rack. It's at least a tier 3 tower here. They don't push all too fast, at least.
Yeah, it's one saving grace for EPG, perhaps, but like I said, it's tier 3. It should be the melee racks. And not much that EPG can really do about this other than sit back and watch and try to realize what they did wrong in that previous fight. But melee racks goes down, NiP resets. And go back to how that Roshan, I'm sure, looking juicy for them. They don't have a Haunt anymore, but they got Roar, they got Wall. They still have plenty to keep them away and commit to that Roshan, I feel.
Yeah, they're pretty tricky to deal with at this point. They're going to take away the Shrine by Roche, so if they TP into Shrine, they're going to have to make a much longer from that top tier 2 or from the base. So they're just doing all the small little things to try and secure themselves this next Roshan, but they're not going to, I don't think they need to necessarily rush it until they have next Haunt.
BKB delivered to Huskar. So talk about an item that's going to help quite a bit. Obviously, you look at what he's up against, and yep, BKB is pretty good this game for Fata. And there we go, into the Roshan pit. Obviously, they get scanned again, but we just finished talking about it's still a lot that they're fighting into, even if they know this is happening. How do you? And they're going to try. Whoa, Oranaya goes way over. Wukon's put down, so Fata has to arm the target off the bat. Swift ending. Got pushed back. He's Shadow Embrace, or the Shadow Dance even, but it doesn't matter. There's the Cold Embrace as other curse. I'm just saying names. Anyways, Mitch, he's trying to get away. Burl Strike. He'll be fine for now. TP out. He's going to go down to the Burning Spears anyways, despite keeping his distance. Yeah, Slark was just low from the very beginning. He literally just had to run the whole time.
And they still see him. They're surging the Slark illusion. They want. It's ending.
Wouldn't that be something if he dies to his own illusion? Oh, PPD.
No. PPD. Did he have a gem or something? No,
he dusted him.
Oh, that is so big.
You know they're having fun with that one. So they kill the Roshan as well, pick up the Aegis, and you can just see it's, again, I go back to Slark. Slark feels a little underwhelmed. Even with the stacking of agility earlier on as far as some of these kills, within these fights, he's having trouble staying strong, you know. He kind of gets in there and then all of a sudden it starts melting. He just has to run away very quickly.
Yeah, I think it's... Slark has never really been this hero that wants to play into these drops, the kind of 5-manning a bit, and that's what NiP's been doing ever since they kind of got their core items on the Spectre, the Manta Diffusal. Husk's got BKB now. They're just 5-manning, and Slark, even though he can maybe kill one, doesn't really have the ability to hold his own against Spectre. Anytime his PPD, anytime the Dark Pack's down, it's just finding these openings to get him with the Fiend's Grip. He's just waiting out for the Dark Pack, then he grips him afterwards. And not enough, I think, attention has been put onto canceling the feed grip by the rest of the EPG team.
Well, I'm going to pause here. And I kind of wonder what that's about, but I'm sure needed here. As obviously, you got EPGs not giving in just yet. A lead, a pretty significant, though. I believe it's all about a 19,000 net worth lead at this point, as well as the 2 sets of racks going down.
It's going to be tough. 2 sets of racks. Late game Spectre, who just picks up a butterfly. It's coming out on the courier, so everything's stacked pretty heavily against EPG at this point.
So again, this is our first quarterfinal match, guys. The winner moves on to the semifinals, and NiP looking to be the team to do so. The loser in this case is eliminated. Still gets at least a portion of the prize pool, as we mentioned, $2,500 going to the 5th through 8th place team. So let's get something out of it, making it to this point, but ultimately we'll fall short of claiming that much more of that $100,000 prize pool that is on the line here for the WePlay Winter Madness event. And also, we got one more series after this one. We got Forward Gaming set to take on Gambit Esports in a best-of-3. Gambit, of course, we got to see them earlier. Pretty dominating stuff over Pavaga to get to that point. So I'm expecting some solid play out of them. And I heard something about how Forward Gaming lost earlier today. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they lost to Namiga Gaming. Another tournament.
That is quite the upset.
Yeah, so because I'm sitting here like, who? Zidrak, Sunlight, The Chosen One, Astral, and Fishman is Namiga Gaming's roster of CIS players. Taking out Forward, so Forward has that also in the back of their mind as well going into that series. We'll see. It is worth saying they are a North American team, and I assume obviously they're playing from NA, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I know they also have like some of the people behind the org are Eastern Europe as well, so maybe they're boot camping in Europe or something at the moment before the major. That's also possible.
Oh, true.
I don't actually know for sure.
Point is, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say I feel like I may have seen some of their players playing, but I could also just be making that.
Well, not too sure. Either way, it was a loss, and again, they're going to be playing Gambit Esports after this series finishes here. Set to take place, so looking forward to that one already, but we still got this one to finish out in NiP after the pause, and even that much more of a net worth kicking in.
Oh yeah, taking out the last shrines, tier 2 towers, just very methodical stuff from NiP as you'd kind of expect. With this kind of a lead, they can kind of just look for that next big team fight, and also we think they have it here on Swift Ending.
Yeah, what can he really do? DNC, he was coming in to save, but he got Primal Reward. And so, thus, no curse to save the day. Slark is dead, not buying back. And, oh, by the way, Monkey King just dies at the top lane to Ace for the solo kill. So that happened. He buys back. Wall's put down, though. Obviously, a last stand here for EPG of sorts. Bornaya, is going to put down that Wukong's command. However, NiP kind of just walks around it. Huskar lifted up. 3-3, still standing his ground. They got the wall. Being a distraction as well. Wyvern dying back. And that's a tier 3 tower kill at least.
I don't think they've got any damage left. Monkey's dead, no buy. Should be Megas and
GG well played, coming out, and NiP is advancing on to the semifinals. Congratulations. We questioned this Spectre pick, and I think for very good reason, to be fair, but NiP clearly confident with it, and they absolutely made it work.
Yeah, I think the same way we questioned the Spectre pick, we didn't question enough. Whilst we're not seeing a whole lot of Spectre right now, Slack's also here picked all. It doesn't particularly look that good when it is being played because of just how fast these games are going, how kind of 5-man heavy this patch has been a little bit, and that's where Slack just doesn't really shine. I think this game they did get outplayed too. The fact that Slark got gripped as many times as he did shouldn't be happening. His team needs to be covering for him, or he needs to be using his Dark Pact in better ways, because there was like 3 different fights where he got gripped and killed off. That just is kind of inexcusable.
Yeah. I'm also noticing too the double Heavens Halberd. Fata had one earlier on, but even 3-3 managed to get one later on there. You got to figure that was also annoying.
Yes. That's an item that's pretty crippling for Slark to play against. Can't Dark Pact it off, and suddenly you go in, you can't Dark Pact it off, you pop your ultimate, or can't actually hit anyone, and it's really hard to play against Halberd.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got NiP moving on, and we got one more series, like I said, today at least, to take place. Another quarterfinal matchup that I was just typing up right there, and I think for good reason. We got Gambit Esports coming off some momentum from earlier today, looking pretty good, and matched up against Forward Gaming, who, in another tournament, did lose earlier today, 2-1 in that series, so we'll see how they manage to match up against Gambit now. That should be starting here soon. Again, I'll keep you guys updated, but ideally we have that rolling schedule that we are looking at. So we're going to go on that short break. Once again, I was Breaky CPK, joined by Gods. We have BSJ as well as Draksy joining us as well. The WePlay Winter Madness continues. The playoff stage, $100,000 on the line. We'll see game number 1 here coming up, Forward Gaming versus Gambit Esports. We'll be right back. As far as those picks
Oddly
go.
enough, I kind of like Tiny against Anti-Mage out of all the heroes that have, all the heroes that have gotten nerfed against Anti-Mage because they rely on single target spells to lock them down. The Avalanche Change is actually a buff to catching out Anti-Mage because he can't blink or anything during the intervals that you're not stunned. So it actually gives you more lockdown for Anti-Mage. Like, I guess that's like a nice open pick. It gives them like the ability to pick something last. So, like, I'm thinking last, something like a Monkey King, just something that will play around the map and follow up these initiators.
But now Forward Gaming having to think about their fourth pick, now, as well. Again, another support option would likely be the one on the list. Is a Wyvern still there? I always think about him against the Beastmaster. He is on the board still, but okay, they're gonna get that Huskar.
It's just a hard lane counter pick. It's good.
Yeah.
Because if they're pretty certain that the Medusa is going to go mid, you guarantee that lane win. And then right now, I don't really see anything that's really hard pressuring the anti-mage. Worst case scenario, you could end up doing like some tri-lane, leave the Tide Hunter solo. Because I think that Gambit actually did their own version of that earlier. We did the tri-lane with the Coddle. And it applied some pressure. But the thing that really crushed the game was the fact that they could walk around as 5 heroes. And I don't think it's going to be nearly as effective with these 4 when you have the Beastmaster instead of the Tide, because as nice as Beastmaster is, he doesn't really offer that 5-man AoE presence that the Tide does.
Yeah, I think Gambit might have to get creative here. I think if you lane Medusa mid, you might just get ran over. Like you said, Huskar absolutely demolishes Medusa in the laning stage, so I feel like they have this like ability to see Forward's entire lineup after this next pick, and I would hope to see Gambit, like if they're going to be willing to first round Medusa, that they have some game plan to adjust to these types of curveballs thrown at them.
You're going to ban the Bane. Obviously, you do figure it's going to be a support option for Forward Gaming. Usually it's not where you want to go with the drop, but at the same time, I think it makes sense here, of course. They kind of got these counter picks as their cores. The Anti-Mage and the Huskar before. Still talk about the Wyvern. I was thinking of other support options. Something like a Shadow Demon I feel like we don't really see at all, but I've always kind of personally valued Shadow Demon. And when the patch first came out, it did seem like some teams were trying him out quite a bit. His new Soul Catcher, and just in general across the board, his skill set I feel is really strong. But that'd be a unique one to suggest.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind something like that.
They even went for the Meepo ban. I mean, it is a pretty good Meepo game, but I don't know, Meepo Medusa? That's like insane amounts of greed.
Yeah, I feel like the Medusa lineups that have failed are the ones that they've picked something else that like what was it that we saw yesterday? It was Medusa plus it was like another slow. What's your?
I have to look it up. I don't actually remember the
You remember what I'm talking about? Maybe I don't know. Like they just picked like another
Slark.
farming here. Was that?
Yeah,
what it was?
that was
Slark with
it was Slark.
And it was just confusing because like it feels like Medusa. You just have to make up for these. Oh, and then somebody else picked a Lifestealer with Medusa too. That's what it was.
Oh yeah.
And then you just can't fight. So like the same idea with Meepo. I feel like the only difference between Meepo and these other heroes is Meepo comes online like really hard at like 13 minutes. So maybe that's what Forward Gaming were afraid of, some timing. I like the Sven pick. It enables their 4-man and there's like a nice strong body in the laning stage against these heroes that Gambit has.
Tough heroes to kill. And the Tide Hunter. So now Gambit. What is this? I suppose that it just depends on where Tiny's going to end up. Would you send one that probably even Tiny to the mid lane against Huskar, or do you want to pick something else here?
I think Immersion usually plays a Tiny, right? He supports on it, so They probably try to dodge the Medusa Huskar lane, and maybe this will be the hero that they can put against it.
I could see Monkey King again. That's like the best pick I see for them. But
What about Viper because of the Tide? Oh, I guess we'll find out. Yeah, okay,
I was fine with your Viper suggestion too. I think that they probably just wanted a more like follow-up initiation type hero. They didn't really need like a beefy body. So like,
you know what else? It plays better around the Will-O-Wisp. That's why the monkey is like really good with the Kata ulti.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of like a miniature Wyvern setup. Like the Wyvern ulti's always been like one of the best Monkey King ult setups, and Coddles is probably second now, I'd say, on the support ultimates.
Here we go. Game 1 of this new best of 3, our final one of the day. Again, at quarterfinal matchup, Forward Gaming versus Gambit Esports. And so the strong finish there. As far as that Monkey King, called it for a while. It just makes sense for Gambit, but is it enough? Draskell, you think it was enough of a pick there in the end?
I think it's quite close, actually. A lot of it's going to depend for me on how the Huskar can do in the game. Like, if the Huskar pops off, it's going to be really tough for Gambit. But if not, then I think there's a good chance that they could take it.
Well, you see right there on your screen the odds. Head over to es.bet. You can place a wager on said odds if you like. Was favoring Forward Gaming. Not the most overwhelming once again, but Forward, definitely the team to beat here in the series, I think you can safely say it, but at the same time, are playing with the stand-in, albeit Ramses. You know, it's interesting stuff here. So we'll see how Gambit does man up against them as we enter into our first game now. But give you the chance as well, BSJ, of course, as we are entering in. The Monkey King, I mean, you called it. You said it was a comfortable pick, but again, is it enough, you think?
Yeah, that's it. I think Russell said it really well. But this whole game, I feel like, will be set by the pace of the Huskar. Like, either Huskar is going to take over the game or and like just allow Anti-Mage to free farm, or otherwise I feel like the 5-man from Gambit is just really powerful as the game goes on. So it's just a matter of how much space is made for Anti-Mage, and if Anti-Mage hits his timings, then suddenly like the split push threat will be too much, because they really do lack the ability to kill him as the game progresses. Like once he gets 2 or 3 items, Anti-Mage is pretty unkillable here, I'd say.
Yeah.
So it's definitely I definitely am going to go with Forward Gaming, but I am very close on this draft because it's like the snowball matchup between the Monkey King Huskar can honestly go so many different ways.
I believe I saw it was yeah, it is Ramses on the Anti-Mage. So that means, of course, Resolution playing the Huskar. In this case, obviously, both could do either one just fine, and not only fine, but very well. But it's going to be interesting to see who ended up playing what.
Yeah, it makes sense actually when I look back, because they have a stand-in, so they have this 4 protect 1 kind of run around the map as 4 lineups. So put the stand-in on his like one independent hero that's going to do its own thing, rather than having him play the team coordination role.
That's true. He is also setting up to be aggressive. He's going to be down here right now with Sven, as well as even Grimstroke, going for that aggressive tri-lane. And also going to go for the aggressive bounty runes. Looks like it's going to be the easy control for either side. So they'll each get the 2.
Seems to be a pretty common theme with the Anti-Mage to do this aggro tri-lane, especially with the Grimstroke plus a stun. You just stun, or you put the Ink Swell on the Anti-Mage, just allows them to be super aggressive. And also, they know the Medusa is going to be side lane. Medusa's like an incredibly fragile hero. So a lot of action should be seen in the bottom lane. This is like a very volatile laning stage, like across the board. I'd say top's kind of a wash, but bottom and mid can go quite like heavily one way or the other.
Yeah, top right now is shaping up to be a Tide versus a Beastmaster, so pretty boring up there. But yeah, the TP in from Immersion, so it is a full tri versus tri lane now. Down here at that bottom, Coddle sitting back, Immersion. He's running up with the tree. Obviously doesn't have a stun or anything like that just yet, but he hits pretty hard with that big tree of his, and Doxox opening up some free farm for him. So Medusa's off to the stronger start, and with this tri-lane here is, you mentioned, kind of see this with these aggressive tri-lanes of the Anti-Mage, the Inkswell threat. Is this a couple of levels maybe before they'll be more confident, or should they even thinking about adjusting?
Yeah, I'd say the Tiny's a bit scary to blink into, because you just take so much damage on the Anti-Mage, pretty low base armor, and you have the Coddle Blast as well. So I think that both teams are like, this is just a volatile lane. They could go either way. Like the Anti-Mage is vulnerable to all the right clicks that he's getting from Medusa. I think this is definitely going to favor the Gambit lineup, just because they win trades and Anti-Mage can't really afford to commit. So It's just, it comes down to if they can catch him out of position or anything like that. But I think that overall this lane setup, it's okay for VP. Or sorry, I saw VP on Ramses. It's okay for forward gaming just because like the two heroes that are solo benefit a lot. Like Tide has a good matchup against the Beastmaster, and Huskar always wants to be 1v1. But it looks like mid lane so far is heavily in favor of the Monkey King.
Yeah, it seems like this has happened a couple times. I feel like this is how it goes, where the first at least like 3 to 4 levels will favor the Monkey King, but 4 to 5 is where the Huskar starts to really pull ahead, adds up the denies, and he'll start taking over. So we'll keep an eye on that to see if it's the similar theme, but expect that to be the case. Apple9s, though, after the strong start that they're hoping for. As you pointed out on Monkey King here, Tidehunter, he's 12-0 against the 9-2 Beastmaster at the top lane, so slight advantage there for the Tide. Feeling good about his chances. But yeah, Anti-Mage, he's a level 2 now, but it's enough to at least get in there and get some CS. And the fact that he's 12-4 is honestly pretty good, I feel, if you're forward gaming and what you're up against.
Yeah, it's such a standoff down here. Like, neither team wants to do anything because the other team's like counterplay is so strong.
Beastmaster at half-life up there at the top. And obviously he should be fine once again. It's Tide. Can only do so much, especially before level 6. That Ravage threat. Yeah, every time I see Anti-Mage going in down here, you just feel like, again, here we go. The Avalanche comes out, but just a little too far away. He was already running. And out comes the silence as well. Well, middle lane. Huskar's getting low, but let's go back to the bottom lane. Okay, well, that was the first blood as Cotto goes down.
I'm very surprised the Grimstroke took his silence rather than his Stroke of Fate, just because they're in a tri-lane, the silence being single target and the Stroke of Fate being obviously an AoE nuke. But either way, the Coddle is vulnerable always, even though he's a high move speed ranged hero. He's just vulnerable positioning-wise because they can close the gap with their heroes. They have a stun, they have the Anti-Mage blink, and he does go down even though we don't get to see it.
Merchant going back in. Ramses, did he overplay this time? No. The follow-up not really there. Obviously, they don't have any kind of stun follow-up. It's just more so damage. Is he able to blink after the Avalanche? It is interesting, you know, he mentioned about how they changed Avalanche has kind of buffed some heroes, like a Nyx, like a Slark even, but you're pointing out Anti-Mage, it's actually hurts him even more now, the longer duration, because he cannot blink out with that animation there.
Yeah, I like how Ramsey's playing it, though. He, like, blinks on the Medusa and burns mana, and then he knows that the response from Gambit will be the Coddle Blast. He doesn't actually have to see it himself. He just knows it's coming, so he hits her twice, and then he immediately walks away and dodges the nuke coming from the Coddle. Just, like, little things like that I always appreciate, these players just reading what the situation exactly is in their lane.
Just watching that at the top, Huskar, it was in the middle lane, but watching the health bars at the top, yeah, he saw the collapse coming in from Tiny, and sure enough, resolution falls. So you talk about the volatile lane, especially with the rotation from Tiny. Bottom lane, Docksock will be picked off. However, SVG, the tower, nice use of the stick. And he will stay alive in the end, so very close call on the return. Medusa, the nuke, almost enough damage with the Illuminate, but he couldn't channel it up long enough. So Grimstork indeed will continue to survive, and now picking up the bounty rune. Immersion gets one. He might kill SVG for this. SVG, another close call. Oh my god, the war cry. He's going to live, actually, and set up a turn kill even. No, the tree comes out, and he ends up trading. What just happened? I don't even know.
That was a lot of teasing one way or the other. That was like, is he going to die? No, he's gonna live. No, he's dead. He's okay. He's alive. That's always pretty funny. The Bounty always create so much random action on the map, and top lane they get both bounties from Beastmaster, so the Bounty do go 3 for 1 in favor of Gambit. But overall, I think the biggest impact so far I've seen this game is the fact that this Monkey King is winning mid pretty heavily.
Yeah, okay, so going back to my point before, this is not the usual thing that we've been seeing. I feel like it's Monkey King still dominating against Huskar, and that is surprising. Resolution.
Now you have this Tiny gank, yeah, like this toss into his own tower, but it looks like they're ready for it.
Well, even ready, is it going to matter? Well, the war cry comes out, so it looks like it will. Stormhammer put out, but yeah, if you're forward, you really can't commit into the tier 1 tower this early on. In fact, Resolution still could die. Toss on top of the Illuminate, and down goes Huskar. You have Tidehunter porting in. Ravage is ready to go. It looks like Aphanine maybe out of line. Oh, if he gets a Ravage off here, on it too. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Get both killed. They're body blocking some. I guess the Avalanche was helping right there, but Monkey King and Tiny will fall, and now FNG. He's going to run away with the salve pop. Make them chase forever, I suppose. Yeah, so got a refresh there. But Coddle's dead after the fact, and they ultimately get 3 kills out of it. So they did lose Huskar, but finally Forward Gaming, specifically Tidehunter, the Watermelon came in and did his job.
Yeah, when you have these like solo lanes, especially when one of your solo lanes is losing and the other one's winning, it's super important that, like, as a hero like Tidehunter, that he applies his strength immediately. He doesn't really like. There's certain games where you can afford to not have to Ravage or not have to be active on these solo laners right up like this early, but because of how the other lanes have been going, it's so much in the hands of him to make sure he responds to any massive engagements that go on. So huge rotation by Universe, a player that I've always known to be one of the best players in the world at just being in the right place at the right time. And that's a perfect example of him doing it right there.
Many years of experience under his belt. Doxak, he's caught. That was just an invis. Did not expect that to happen, so they sit right on top and set the Stormhammer, the Inkswell, and nothing that Medusa could do at that point to get away. So Ramsey's credit for the kill even. And yeah, Ramsey's, he's now second in net worth right behind his teammate Tidehunter. Obviously Forward Gaming is excited to see that at this point in the game. As over here, Grimstroke, well, he's probably dead, but he's going to be the bait to allow Sven to get away, I suppose. There you go. You find him. Perhaps
one thing I like about what Forward Gaming is doing here is because their kill potential on Anti-Mage is limited, but the kill potential on Medusa is always going to be there. Anti-Mage should recover much better than Medusa, so like they're kind of willingly trading Anti-Mage having a free farm start for Medusa, and I think that's going to benefit them in the long run. But the fact is, this Huskar has kind of become a liability at this point. Yeah. He's 6th on the net worth, and at 8 minutes into the game, that's the last thing you want to see with a Huskar, a hero that does not recover. So it's kind of going to be in the hands of the Tidehunter to enable the Huskar to be strong, like have the Huskar play with the Tide whenever Tide has Ravage, and that'll allow Resolution to still have impact in this game.
Does he change his build at all because he's so far behind? I mean, still go the armlet, you think, and just go from there just slower, or is there different items that he goes for?
I think you still go the same thing. I don't think your hero really changes his purpose. It's just a matter of maybe getting an extra bracer or something that allows you to be strong at 10 minutes, like as strong as you can be. Not necessarily strong, but stronger. Pretty one-trick pony. Huskar is kind of does the same thing every game.
We've seen him so much dominate in the laning phase as you kind of expect with this hero, but one of the few times where, yeah, he is having a struggle. By the way, a great scan from the Radiant. They scan this smoke play coming out from forward, so they have all the information, at least to just play away from the area, although they're going to keep going, and they might run into Medusa. So she kind of knows that they smoked up there, but doesn't know exactly where they are. Doxak. Oh, they don't go south. They go north. They're wrapping around. They have no clue how close they were to getting a free Medusa kill. And they can't capitalize, unfortunately, so that's a little bit lucky. Same thing for Medusa from her perspective. She has no clue how close she was to dying, but either way, nothing happens. Instead, 10-minute bounty runes are coming up. Looks like they might be competing for them, at least at the bottom lane. Yeah, Monkey King Tiny running away. Afterlife at the top, though, at least he gets his, and they're also possibly fighting Grimstroke, it looks like, is going to fall. Doxak credit for the kill there on Medusa. Well played. Tidehunter continues to be top net worth in the game. Not often you find yourself saying that, but he is doing that good job. You mentioned they kind of need him to have high impact, specifically with Resolution after a slow start, something you don't see much.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten an update on his item build, but I'd imagine he's just going the beefy frontline build this game. The only hero that really threatens him is the Monkey King in the mid game. The Jingu Mastery is really the only source of like continuous damage that's significant that goes through the Kraken shell. So as long as he has some backup on the side of Forward Gaming with like the Sven and the Grimstroke, then I think Tidehunter is pretty unkillable. And you can see that Gambit understands that, and they're not responding to him. They're kind of just letting him do his thing. Like they're ignoring whatever part of the map Tide's on. They have no desire to contest him at all. He did go Vlad's. I like that. I think Tidehunter Vlad's a super powerful. Obviously, Vlad's a very good item this patch, but now that Anchor Smash applies your attacks, it's actually a really nice sustain item and really nice tankability item on Tide, because every time you hit like 3 or 4 creeps or even like a couple heroes in the fight, you're life stealing from it on all those attacks.
Yeah. Again, that Anchor Smash change really kind of didn't change the way you play the hero completely, but it gave him a nice additional, like, I can actually be a damage threat now rather than just a walking ultimate, which no doubt was the improvement to the hero.
Yeah, I've seen Desolator Tides and stuff. That's scary, man. Desolator Tide is no joke, so I wouldn't be surprised if eventually in this game he gets like 1 or 2 items that enable him to actually significantly put out damage, but I think if everything goes according to plan with the anti-mage, then he won't need to do any carrying this game.
Sven, he's kind of pushing out bottom lane by himself, but he's making his way towards middle because looks like that's where a bit of the action could be happening soon. Tiny sends in an illusion, trying to bait them out. Obviously, we know that, but I think I heard a life break as we're watching a Monkey King wander through the trees. But yeah, so not the biggest deal in the world. Obviously, very short cooldown. Trying to be a little clever there with that illusion rune. Triple bracer though on Huskar, and sure enough, he is still going for that armlet. But again, Universe in the front lines, gonna take the tower, speed it down. As the Illuminate comes through, though, of course, pushing into a Coddle can tend to be a little difficult at times. Something that I feel like we saw initially with Medusa's post 7.20, but not recently. As, by the way, you check out the odds right there, es.bet. You can go to it and place a wager on set odds. Still favoring Forward Gaming, of course. Let's take advantage of the insurance in play here for the WePlay Winter Madness Tournament. But that Kasha Yaya, wow. Yasha and Kaya.
Kasha Yaya.
Kasha Yaya. What the hell did I get that? Kind of mixing some things. Point is, we don't really see that lately outside of OD. The Kasha Yaya.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say you definitely get one against Anti-Mage. Any hero with like Diffusal or Mana Burn, you want it on Medusa. It not only makes you tankier because it reduces the damage you take from spells because of Mana Shield, but it also reduces the Mana Burn in general. So, pretty important item, I'd say, at some point in this game. But it may, for whatever reason, not even have the luxury to buy it if he feels the need. I haven't actually played Medusa against Anti-Mage myself. But since they're first rounding it, I assume he is ready to adjust to any situation that is drafted against him.
I kind of bring that up, too, because I saw that he was queuing up the Manta style. So it looks like he's just going to go the full Manta over such item.
There are a lot of things to Manta off this game, but I'm curious to see how that plays out for him.
Courier heading towards bottom. It's like Monkey King. Going to be the one to receive that. Beastmaster, obviously Necronomicon and Beastmaster makes a lot of sense. It seems like a lot of these Beastmasters recently, we haven't seen it too much on, but we also haven't seen more of the support Beastmaster over this core off lane. So Vlad's into Necro. It's going to be finished.
Yeah, Beastmaster is a hero that generally wants to play one lane side of the map and just continuously pressure, but that's why Tidehunter is traditionally a counter, because if Beastmaster does that and Tidehunter kind of just sits in his lane, Beastmaster can't do that. So this game, Beastmaster is kind of forced to start pushing lanes that Tide's not in, changing up his playstyle a little bit. So I think the Necro book actually goes with that a lot better, just because you're playing more of a pressure the side lane, like pressure the lanes that Forward's not occupying, rather than trying to continuously force Forward to respond to you.
Yeah.
It looks like this movement at the bounty rune. That long range Kobe.
Love it. It's got to feel so good as a Husker just flying through the air. Soaring.
It feels amazing when you just like ult and somebody blinks and you just follow them like all the way across.
You ain't going.
Because there are like exact numbers, and I've looked at them before, but for whatever reason, it's like they have to travel a specific distance in less than a specific amount of time. So sometimes you'll just follow them anyways because of the exact numbers on the like how far they blink or how far away you are when they actually blink. It's what a weird ability. I'm like, am I gonna follow him or not? Let's find out. And you just push R and go from there.
There's some funky things like that. I know, like Omni Slash is they're like a 4 staff against an Omni Slash that can like bug it out basically. If it uses the perfect timing, so.
Same with Manta and stuff like that. Yeah, Huskar ult's a weird ability. It has exact numbers to it, but no matter how much you look at the numbers, it doesn't feel consistent. Maybe the idea behind this Medusa Manta is that it allows them to push waves without having to be there, which is like nice this game. But Anti-Mage is going to complete that Battle Fury about 16 minutes in. will obviously ramp up his farming speed and most notably his like split push pressure, which is super important in this game. But honestly, this Medusa recovered a lot better than I thought she would. So I might have to actually watch this game myself to see what was done by the Medusa.
Draksy did, as Ramses, very close call, the Inkswell, but no, the Promarori ran right into Afterlife. Immersion even finishes the job with a tree throw, so thought he was out of there. Little did you know, he blinked right into a Beastmaster, essentially. Resolution over here, F9, beating him down with the Wukong's command, though, and by himself, Huskar, underfarmed, not going to win that battle. And they're going to go right into the Roshan pit. Draksy cleared the way. This should be a free Aegis, so Gambit, they got a lot of control early on in this game. And now an Aegis to go along with it.
Yeah, we've seen time and time again the Monkey King just being a good hero against Huskar at this stage in the game because Huskar has to run away from your ulti, and Huskar does not want to run away.
See a little bit of
like
harassment.
Ford wants to stall this at least until their heroes are alive again.
That view is so weird. FNG got strength pop, so he gets cut down very quickly. Ravage even used for this as well, but again, they already got the Aegis. F9 picks it up, running away. Draksy caught for now. Mana Void, you got to expect it's coming soon. Might not even be needed for the kill, though, to be fair, so perhaps going to save. Oh, never mind.
He just wants the last hit. Spur his farm forward.
They do lose the Grim Stroke in response, but ultimately, again, they got the Aegis. They picked it up on Monkey King. Part of me, do you think that was intended, or would they rather get it on the Medusa, or was it like a panic mode?
I think they wanted Medusa to just be hitting creeps and enable the Monkey King to run around being aggressive, so I think that was intentional. I just, they weren't really banking on getting punished as they were leaving the Roche pit.
Monkey King jumps on top of Resolution. He was just farming up these creeps, so as we pointed out, again, he has the Aegis. That's another level right here as far as what do you want to do if you're forward gaming. Well, poor man's Blink Dagger tosses in Afterlife, but the Promaror hits, but now with the Soulbind coming out, he has to keep his distance from his teammates. Resolution, life breaks onto Immersion. Gonna be tossed up, though. The Wild Axes cut through him, and he does go down. They're gonna lose Tiny, but definitely doing his job right there, killing the Huskar. Afterlife. He's probably dead, although the Will-O-Wisp's gonna save him for now, so never mind. The pushback with the Blinding Light knocks Universe and MSS back. That will be the end of it.
What do you do to this Tidehunter, though? He just, it's funny. He doesn't, I like how he actually went Blink, because oddly enough, he doesn't need an item that allows him to stand on the front lines. He just needs to insert himself into the front lines. So I like that item a lot from Universe. He's basically under no threat at any point in the near future. I'd say until Monkey King gets like 1 or 2 damage items.
Yeah, he's feeling good. He's feeling pretty good this game. Medusa's also feeling pretty good.
Yeah, both teams like have this hero that doesn't want to fight though, and both of those heroes right now are completely content, as you're saying, just hitting creeps and living the farm life. And that's kind of, so we'll just keep seeing this 4-on-4, and right now I think that favors Gambit, but it's just one of those things where I feel like if the game continues being normal, like even, it'll favor forward as the game goes on, just because I think Tidehunter late game is incredibly good here, and then Anti-Mage just matches well against the Medusa. But so far, Gambit's putting on a good show. I mean, I thought their draft definitely had a lot of good, like I like the Monkey King last pick, how it wrapped it up, and we'll just have to see if they can keep this pace, because so far they've been honestly owning. So.
Yeah, they're playing this well again, working off of that momentum from earlier. Like I said, and they defeated Pavaga Gaming 2-0 in a pretty quick victory, first series of the day. So yeah, they are now matched up against Forward Gaming, more experienced team of course, but off to a decent start. Anti-Mage, Ramsey's playing it. Always got to be careful about him getting too far ahead though, and he's got a Yasha onto the Manta style. Farming over their Ancients. That was another smoke play from Forward again, trying to find Gambit, but yet again, Gambit's doing a good job of responding and not giving them the easy opportunity. Now they're smoked themselves, actually. Ooh, can they catch the Anti-Mage would be big. Sven gonna be exposed. They jump up to the right. Huskar missed the avalanche, though. Promaror comes out, double silence with the Soulbind. There's a Ravage, and Universe looking to help turn this. Huskar jumps in with a life break on it both. Afterlife, he's going to go for the DP play. F9's helping with the Wukong's command, but it does not scare off Forward Gaming. They got 2. Yeah, whiffing that initiation in the first place meant that was a bad start for Gambit, and it backfired.
The problem was the Monkey King saw the Sven first, and he jumped up onto the trees to the left, and then the Tiny saw Huskar and was like, go get him! So like their strongest hero with the Aegis was not there to follow up on the Huskar, and that just led to a nice turnaround from Forward Gaming.
Looks like he'll be fine as he's into the base there, but forward, they obviously want to work off of this last team fight that they had. A couple of hero kills, going to go for that mid-tier 2, but Monkey King turning them a bit. There's Immersion jumping, and this time he's not going to miss the avalanche. Tosses back Resolution, Blinding Light pushback. Resolution's just running, though. The regen keeping him alive. Interfire, he's going to get the disarms up. And he's still living for now, but I don't know if he's actually getting out of here. He'll escape.
Space.
Exactly. Look at it that way. Space created by Huskar. Allows him to fall back, but Diffusal Blade now purchased by Monkey King after that, too.
That's a really important purchase. You have Anti-Mage as well as Tide, who are heroes that are going to be hard to bring down as the game goes on. And when you have those types of heroes and there's no like easy way to build to kill them, the best way to deal with them is them having no mana. So Anti-Mage is a hero that is surprisingly terrible when he has no mana. Like, a lot of carries are still able to play the game with limited to no mana, but Anti-Mage completely relies on spamming his blink as well as counterspell in order to participate in fights. So diffusal mana burn type things are really good against an Anti-Mage that you feel like will take a little while, like that you have lockdown for, but you don't necessarily have damage for, because then he won't be able to get away anyways.
Yeah. You do see the, speaking of Monkey King too, he gets his level 15 talent, the plus 600 cast range on that tree dance. And I know you're a Monkey King player yourself. How good does that feel, being able to leap that much further in the trees?
I mean, I've seen some people take the Jingu Mastery talent, and I feel like the leap distance is so nice. It's just your ability to get around the map speeds up. And that's what I feel like is the most significant difference, is you can just... It feels like if you're racing around the map trying to clear waves or try to gank heroes, you're just doing it that much faster, and that's the big deal for me.
Yeah.
Very powerful talent.
Well, has it, as we're constantly looking at him at the top lane and applying the pressure. Obviously, he wants to get this tier 2 tower. Right now, nobody responding. That's because Forward Gaming, they're elsewhere. Sven having those drum charges on him. Didn't mention that yet, but has used a couple at least. Going to make their way bottom, as Ramsey's already down here, killing the tower, and working on that butterfly next. So again, very standard stuff from really both cores. But on either side, as Monkey King now even has the BKB queued up next. All the defusal.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Pushing this out as middle lane Immersion setting up. His friend Resolution once again. As we see that they're backing up though, so this would be a risky dive of sorts. We saw it happen before. Doxak's just going to charge it. Those are the Mystic Snake. Immersion wants to go in. The Coddle puts down the Will-O-Wisp. Disco's Ball. They're going to dance around. Pulling them back in. Illuminate through. Ravage going to be used by Universe. A very spread out Ravage right there. Only connected on a couple. In the backline, Zaphanite's jumping in. Is able to finish off Huskar. Out comes the Stone Gaze. As well, Universe having to run the other direction, as well the rest of the team. MSS caught though by the Avalanche. SS SPG doesn't delay them enough though. In fact, the Inkswell's put up and MSS wants to run back in. He tries to stun somebody. Just running around with a chick with his head cut off, it felt like. So they end up losing the Grimstroke, but Zaphanite just too far up. Grimstroke buys back, by the way. Monkey King able to get the support needed. Medusa, meanwhile, as long as she's nearby, she is doing plenty of damage. And we saw right there, again, you look at the ES.bet odds. You can check it out yourself. Go to the website, put in your bets if you like. ES.bet. Anyways, that fight, though, BSJ.
That was a spread out fight. It was kind of odd because Forward Gaming was crowd controlled by the Will-O-Wisp for so long. And I learned a new interaction that if you tiny toss somebody and they get sucked in by the Will-O-Wisp, it like cancels the toss. They like tried to toss the Huskar back into the team, and then he just got like blind, or, you know, sucked back into the Will-O-Wisp. So it was a little weird, just that whole engagement. But overall, I think both teams are kind of okay with what just happened. But this is exactly why this Diffusal's nice against this Tide, as you're seeing in the top bounty. But I do like Universe's Solar Crest here because his job now is to just enable the rest of his team, and most notably his Anti-Mage. The 70 attack speed given to your allies from Solar Crest is pretty nuts when you're looking at these like mid to late game carry matchups. Like earlier we saw the Jug versus AM, and the Jug had the Slaughter on his team, which just makes that matchup so much better for Jug. And in this game, since the games are truly going late like that, any free items you can give your carry is that much of a difference in the matchup.
Yeah. Smoke play from Gambit here. They're wrapping all the way around. We've seen many of these smoke plays this game and only coming up short. So both teams doing a decent job of looking out for them and kind of feeling out how the game's going and realizing if anything they're all missing. So, you know, that in itself is a pretty obvious guess.
And both teams just playing around their own vision. That just ends up being the inevitable conclusion. Nobody knows where the other team is, so they're like, "Hey, just sit on this ward and wait for them to reveal some sort of information to us."
They smoked again right here.
Oh yeah, the re-smoke. This is ambitious, but it could easily work out for them here based on what they see.
Yeah, Monkey King got some information. King's coming
No
out.
Ravage yet. Oh, Ravage is up. Never mind.
Just came off cooldown.
Roche is the big objective here. Both teams are obviously concerned about that.
I was going to say, does he Ravage here? He sure does. 2 supports. They're going to catch Coddle at least. Immersion. Just trying to delay this as much as he can. Coddle buys back. Will-O-Wisp is ready. Afterlife throws out the Primal Roar and a Resolution, but the Will-O-Wisp goes down right there. The Soulbind on top, and now Doxox running in with that Stone Guy's Resolution. He's being patched up. He's being locked down, especially with that Will-O-Wisp as well. He can't do too much. Universe jumps back in with the Inca Smash, but they're going to lose Huskar in the middle of the fight with that Wukong's fighting area too, working out for the benefit of Gambit. Universe in pursuit of Immersion, but Ramses kind of has to keep his distance for now. Wants to go in, pops the counterspell. It's worn off, though, and now he's going to be stunned up. That was a risky move by Ramses. He blinks out at the last second. Wow, almost melted there.
That's that Solar Crest making that little bit of difference. That Universe's itemization giving him, I believe, 14 free armor from his items. And Monkey King goes for the bottom rune and just dies.
Yeah.
Like goes to chase after Tide. We don't even see it. Server wasn't even ready for that. They're like, wait, what?
Well, shaking my fist a little bit. Yes, to the right over there. We saw Monkey King diving in. And, yeah, unfortunately, that proved to be bad. Like I said, I think he was going for the rune, just kind of thinking that he had a free rune, but nope. So
Would you say he was diving into the fountain, returning himself to the fountain.
Yes.
That was the goal. That was the goal there.
Totally.
Either way, both teams still predicated around getting the Roche complete before, I'd say they're on a timer before Monkey King gets alive and the Will-O-Wisp is back up, but Ravage is also of concern that they don't have it. But they're very happy to tank this with the Vlads. They're not losing any health. They do a ton of damage with the Solar Crest. It looks like Forward Gaming going to get it. Huge deal for Huskar, but he gets the cheese.
FNG, he gets a blinding light off, but dies shortly after. Another Stone Gaze. Doxox gets stones up Resolution there, but not too concerned. You see the disarm even coming out. Immersion running back, but now Doxox, he's going to pop the Shrine, realizing that they're going to jump him right here, as they do. That Mana Void, you know it's coming soon from Ramses. Can he get it off Doxox? He's able to run away for the time being from Ramses. I'm sure we're going to see it blink in. No, that Primal Roar lockdowns forever, man. Prevents him from going for Medusa. Instead, he'll find the kill on a Beastmaster. So at least it saved Medusa in that sense, but Monkey King's like, do I go? Do I go? Do I go? Okay, there's the dance. There's the Wukongs. Unfortunately, it might be the end of him as a result. Could not save his teammate, and he's going to mischief right there, hoping for the best. The Burning Spear's heading up. Ramsey's in pursuit, trying to run him down. Remember, he has an Aegis even if he ends up going down, but it's not needed here. Monkey King falls, and the game, it's not going to be over by any means, but as even the Tier 2 tower's up, but obviously one of the biggest fights so far in favor of Forward Gaming there.
Yeah, they have no creeps, so they weren't able to get any objectives off of it currently, but map control is now all in the favor of Forward Gaming. They were forced to use the cheese on the Huskar, but that's a small price to pay for what they got. Anti-Mage still has that Aegis, and this game just gets easier for Anti-Mage. As I mentioned in the draft, it's just a game that as the game goes on, his game becomes easier and easier with items. Earlier we talked about we never really thought that Anti-Mage was going to hit a critical mass, but this game, they eventually will not be able to deal with him. And Medusa can't protect herself, and no matter how many items she has, Anti-Mage is very happy to chew through a Medusa.
Oh, yeah. And he's got plenty of supporting cast around him, too, from Sven, Tidehunter. Sven, especially with that Warcry now, is a blink as well, so he's that much more useful as far as being able to get in here now. In the midst of the fights where he wants to be. Also with that Greater Cleave, yeah, he's leveling that up, so he can start getting some more farm himself even. On the Sven pending space on the map.
When you have heroes like Huskar who don't really want to clear waves or show on waves, it's nice to have supports like that can clear waves. Most notably, it's not even for their own farm, it's like enabling the rest of their team to not have to take the farm.
That's a nice combo there, Warcry. Not going to save him, though. That's a good attempt from MSS, but SVG goes down.
Anti-Mage is getting the top tower for this, so despite the kill, they are still getting the objectives on the map on the side of Forward Gaming.
Sticking together as a team, finding some more wards. Using that Necronomicon, but as you pointed out, Ramses, they need more than the Medusa to stop him.
And this is exactly why why Anti-Mage is so annoying for Medusa, because you usually as Medusa can either not have to respond to the opponent, or you are enough to respond. Like the Medusa can just show up and solo defend, but usually that's not the case against anti-mage. So they almost lose their tier 3 there, which will open up the shrines, making it even harder to insert themselves onto the map. The Medusa just has to play so scared. She can't leave her base, and that's not a spot you want to be in.
No, that's never a good sign. But Ramses falls back. In fact, joins this team at the bottom lane now as that lane is all the way pushed up already. And you have Monkey King doing what he can here at the top, pushing it out, but now Ramses blinks in and going right for that tier 3. The AC purchase.
I like that AC a lot. I was thinking Tide might buy it, but...
Almost killed FNG with a Mana Void. Doesn't, though. Now Ramses is going to fall. Oh, that Warcry, man. Are you kidding me? It's like he probably wanted to die, to be honest, with the Aegis. But either way, Will-O-Wisp is put down. He eventually is going to fall down. Resolution goes down as well, though, in the midst of it. He has a buyback. We'll see that comes into play. Universe also going to be locked down himself. Out of mana completely. Again, the Diffusal Blade doing work with the Wukong's. Oh, my God. Ramses blinks away at the last second. As out comes a Warcry again with that Inkswell. Allows him to blink again. And they cannot chase. Nice job with the mischief right there from F9. He's just throwing that hammer. But Anti-Mage, some way, somehow, does make it out. So hold your horses, Gambit. They can defend.
Yeah, I think they have to be careful of what they're doing with the base. Like, somehow Ford Gaming is 3 or 4 heroes caught in the base. They're, like, trying to respond to Anti-Mage getting gone on, and you just have to let him die with the Aegis. I think he's the one that can get out, and you can help him disengage. But Huskar Tide, these heroes aren't getting out. And you saw that there, like, the team fight of Gambit is nuts. The Will-O-Wisp, the Medusa ulti, the Monkey King ulti. You just can't fight into that. So getting caught out a little overextended on the side of Ford Gaming and clearly paying a heavy price for it. And they might even just lose a lane of racks here, maybe more.
Yeah, not even killing that Keeper of the Light initially. Yikes.
I don't think Anti-Mage has a TP. I don't think he does. I think he TP'd away originally, so he is going to get the bottom tier 3, and he might get a racks of his own, actually.
Well, he needs to be sure not to die. I mean, again, Ramses, close call. Oh boy, they're chasing. Another blink.
Refresh on the skills. Oh, the Coddle almost gave him enough cooldown, but the Monkey King's coming behind. They scanned him. They know where he is.
Yeah.
Monkey King long distance jumps. Oh, he misses the Boundless.
Oh no. It might not matter, to be fair, but yeah.
That was kind of a juke, honestly, on Ramsey's part. Like, he stopped running in a straight line, so that was honestly not accidental. That's usually a good read, and sadly, he does miss, and those are the type of moments if you lose this game, you'll look back on, couldn't I have just hit him with that Boundless, but...
Ramsey's pretty good, juking out right there, but another close call. He's done a lot of that this game. As far as you think he's going to die and then barely gets out.
Oh, he pushes his limits insanely on like any hero. It doesn't matter what hero, what team apparently he's on.
Yeah.
It's just his play style. Well, he definitely needs this BKB though, because of all the mana burn coming out from Gambit.
Yeah.
Medusa.
Moving in with a smoke. Did she got some? Oh yeah, she got an MKB on her recently, so just purchasing that. Talking about more damage. Uh-oh, Anti-Mage, he has no clue. He's going to be jumped right here. The counterspell helping, though. Ravage in response. Universe putting it out, and now Ramses is ready to fight. Immersion, all of a sudden, he's out of mana. Will-O-Wisp put down as well in the middle of the fight. Universe pulled back in. Ramses up inside. Proper roar on him. Ramses, he's in trouble this time. He is going out for sure, and he's out for 95 seconds. No buyback indeed. Resolution, BKB. He ain't living through this.
That's a GG. No Ravage, no Anti-Mage. I have to imagine that's game over. They don't threaten the Medusa. The Anti-Mage is the only hero that kills Medusa here. Unless he somehow gets buyback.
Do they go tier 4?
I think they don't know whether or not he has buyback.
True.
It's really close. It's 300 gold. So I think because they don't know that, they're going to take the safe route here.
That's fair. Tiny, he gets jumped, but as we see, he is still going to be short for the time being. Stormhammer comes out. That Immersion doesn't end up falling. Buyback from Tiny, though, in fact, as he died right there. So yeah, Anti-Mage still staying dead. Melee racks. It is certainly going to fall. And you'd think by now, if you're Gambit, it's like, okay, he didn't buy back for this as they were fighting. You know, probably doesn't have it.
Force him to buy back either way, I think. Like, if you go bottom, he has to buy back if he has it. Because they can't afford to get Mega here on the side of Ford Gaming. Yeah, you have an Anti-Mage, but the whole reason that Gambit's lineup is weak at certain points is that they can't leave their base. But with Megas, they'll always have map control, and that makes their game super easy to play.
Resolution. That mischief, man. Fun to use Resolution. He tried. He gets locked down with the Primal Roar. And Monkey King That's having trouble killing him. The BKB as he runs away, so we'll be unable to kill him, but they're getting the objectives. That's what really matters. Still 10 more seconds for Anti-Mage. That's going to be Mega Crew. Okay. There's a fortification, so they're going to try to keep him off, but with the Stone Gaze, that'll absolutely guarantee it. So Mega Creep's coming out now for Gambit. Anti-Mage is up. Can they maybe catch Medusa? Even if they do,
They have
it's
to get
like...
something.
Okay, well, they're trying. Yeah, their base, by the way, is dying. Glimmer Cape saves him for now. Now comes the Avalanche as well. Here comes the Wukongs. Doxok is still alive. Kiting around the back lines. Okay, finally going to be picked off, though. Resolution, credit for the kill there. So they do get a couple of kills out of it. Afanage now also got out, so they get 3. Fighting chance for forward, but their base is all dead.
Yeah, Roche is up. They have to get a lot out of this. Anti-Mage obviously did not have to buy back, so that means he will be able to get another item. At what point do you consider a Rapier or something of that magnitude in order to try to make a comeback here? Honestly, this game's not 100% over. I think if they can get Aegis and maybe force 1 or 2 buybacks, but it's obviously very grim whenever you get Mega'd against a Medusa lineup.
Well, they know Roshan's up. They're pinging him. And I think Ramsey's is heading over.
Beelining it, yep.
Now they get scanned, so obviously now the Radiant knows. But Gambit's not going to be able to get there because, again, it would require all their buybacks. It's just not worth it in their mind. So I have to agree. It definitely, this is, in fact, net worth lead for Forward Gaming. But yeah, you're right. Refresher Ravage now for Universe as well. That they have. So it's going to be a bit of an all-in push here for Forward Gaming of sorts. But yeah, if they happen to win one fight, a couple hero kills even, they can push quickly and end this game. It's going to be a fun finish. Has Ramsey's bought anything yet since the...
he had BKB queued up, but based on the fact that he has the gold and he's not bought it yet, he may be considering Rapier, honestly. I think those are really his only 2 logical choices because no survivability item other than BKB matters this game because if he has a heart, if he has a Scotty, it doesn't matter. All of his mana gets burned. That's how he's dying.
Yeah.
So that's why he went for the AC into the planning on going BKB build. Just something to learn for anyone watching Anti-Mage. It's just he realizes that long drawn out fights are not actually good for him. He just needs to be as heavy damage output as well as the BKB active is when he's useful. Otherwise, play the split push game. So let's see. The courier's flying to the secret shop. Easy Rapier. Come on.
It's over there. It's chilling.
He has not bought his BKB yet, so I have to assume he's not going BKB.
Well, that's getting to a point where obviously you want to make sure you at least have an item at this point. If another fight breaks out, it looks like something is being delivered.
He bought something.
Come on, courier.
Rapier?
Abyssal.
Oh, how did that not show that he had already bought that? I guess I'm okay with that. I just think that that's not exactly how they're going to win the game, but Ramses knows best for sure. I feel like he just thinks that the only way they're going to come back is if he can get some solo pickoffs on some crucial heroes. And that's obviously what the Abyssal Blade represents. Since he has the Aegis, he's willing to forego the BKB a bit longer.
Smoke play. Who's back defending? That's Huskar. That's what Resolution has been designated.
He's actually been demoted.
Yeah.
That's his most useful job right now.
It's right. Just look at me, I'm the carry now. Literally is. That's how the game is played out here for sure. As Anti-Mage hunting right there. Almost caught the Monkey King, but able to get away. That's a double damage rune. They were covering those 40-minute rune spawns. And that's why Ramses ends up getting a DD out of it. At least at the bottom one. So that could be big as Immersion. Let's keep the pressure up with the lanes, he says, pushing out bottom. Beastmaster gets scanned out up there in the middle lane. I think they're running after him. And it looks like he is going to get caught.
They just have such evasive items on the side of Gambit. Like, you have this Blink 4-staff bots on the Tiny. You have Shadow Blade on the Beastmaster. It's just, and you have the Monkey King, who's obviously innately hard to catch. Obviously, Forward Gaming, they got a pick off there, but pickoffs have to come quickly when you're against Megas because the lanes just push against you so fast. And Sadly, you know, Huskar has been demoted to lane duty, but will they actually be able to get anything off of this? He is dead for 80 seconds, no buyback. They know this because it's on cooldown.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they take like a multi-prong approach, that might be their best option. I think even without Beastmaster, they can't actually go high ground into one lane. I don't think that'll work. I think they have to try to force Gambit to use abilities on one lane and then go to another. And the anti-mage is going to be hitting the racks already.
Backdoor.
And
so fast.
Monkey King's pushing top, but he's not actually a threat to building, so Forward does not have to react to this just yet. They do have 2 lanes in, which is really nice. That means that Gambit can't afford to just like cut one wave and be okay.
Jump in, Ravage. Very aggressive play right here. Alpha-9 have to man up, pops his BKB. Universe, again, his mana's all of a sudden gone. Did his Ravage, though, already. At least one Ravage. Remember, he has a second one, but without the mana, can't use it yet. They are falling back.
Greaves if he refreshes.
Oh, true. Resolution, speaking of refreshing, he has to pop the cheese right there. Gets caught by the Wukong's command. Able to walk out, though, because of that. So you can tell both teams very timid in terms of going all-out immersion. Though he's going to be jumping the Abyss Blade. Balance strike helps. There's that second Ravage coming up. Maybe catching them off guard. Immersion goes down because of it. And now Toxic in a bad spot. He pops the Manta style. Stone Gaze, but he goes down to the Mana Void. Buyback is ready. But Forward Gaming, they're pushing now.
Tiny no buyback. They know this as well. Hits on cooldown.
May the Rax goes down. They want to go for the top, obviously. They want to match the Mega Creeps. There's the buyback from Medusa. No Ravage this time around. As, oh my god, Beastmaster just melted in the front.
Again.
Yeah, still no. They're going to have to pop fortification, but there's really not enough lane pressure. I mean, the tier 4, one of the tier 4 towers did go down on the Dire side, but the second one's being pressured. But they're going to get the Mega Creeps.
And no solar here, though, so but this might be, like you said, a return of the melee creeps, and it is. So this game suddenly got real interesting.
Very interesting. In fact, Toxic dies. That could be it. He gets caught. Another Mana Void is not ready just yet, but able to get the Blinding Light support. Look at all the misses coming out as a result, but the Stormhammer hits. Doxox still so low. No Mana Void, but it doesn't matter. The Force Staff doesn't save him. He's out for 2 minutes. They can lose Grimstroke, but Ramsey's is still a boss right now with the miss of this fight, and he feels like he's unkillable at this point. He's going for tier 4. The backdoor protection is up, though. So that is going to save them for the time being. They cannot get the waves pushed in. I don't even know why he's trying to attack the tower, frankly. Seems like it's doing no damage. Okay, there we go. Backdoor does wear off now. And they are going to start going for it. But, I mean, Orange is still dead for 90 seconds anyways.
Okay, Monkey King will use his ultimate, but they get the stun. They just have to delay him. They're actually committing to this, though.
Alpha-9, he goes down. Buyback. He still has Wukong's, as mentioned. If he can get that off, maybe that could be the deterrent needed. MSS just went, he's a distraction. He's like, yes, focus me. Ancient's dying. Here we go, the Wukongs. No, the pushback. Okay, the Wukongs does go off. So the Ancient about a half-life currently. Universe, that Ravage has to be coming up soon. I got to figure. Anyways, Anti-Mage, he's being pushed and pulled around every which way. Beastmaster's up in 3 seconds. It doesn't matter. Too much damage. And Forward Gaming comes back in game number 1. The good old Mega Creep comeback. Welcome to Anti-Mage.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's when you just gotta let happen, soak in. Whew, that was their entertaining finish, to say the least, and the best one so far of this event. That's for sure.
For sure, yeah. It's one of those when you're a spectator and you know that the game's not over when they get megas. Like Gambit has to know that too. Like they have to be aware that Forward can afford to defend this, and if they get sloppy, which they did, Forward can make use of it. They got the Aegis, which was the Refresher Shard probably being the most notable part of that. It allows Anti-Mage to play super aggressive on the map, which means he can, like, even though the lanes are always pushed because of the megas, Anti-Mage is not scared to always just efficiently push all the lanes out. And then the double Ravage, we saw it. Universe, I'd say, definitely MVP of the game. Had great item build. Basically carried his team, honestly. I feel like there were a couple sloppy plays across the board from the other players. And Universe just put the team on his back. Obviously, Ramsey's with the highest net worth being the Anti-Mage, but I definitely tip my hat to Universe here.
That last fight, too, with the double Ravage, and whether it was intended or not, to be fair, against, I understand his mana got burned and maybe he just wasn't able to use it in the end, but the idea that he kind of reset and then went for a second one, we'll see a lot of the times, people will just double Ravage right there, right off the bat, and you're kind of like, well, is that really doing enough? And rather than having that reset of kind of a second mini fight, that definitely proved to be the right decision. in that case right there. So, yeah, no, I'm with you. Universe absolutely deserves the most credit, arguably, on Forward Gaming side as far as their victory goes. But they take it, man. That's got to feel so good on the other side of the spectrum. Gambit, man, that has to sting. Already coming in as the underdog, and you lose a mega creep game that you had in your favor. But that happens sometimes. You called it. And, I mean, you even see the win probability. It never really was. It was like a 90%, but it never was higher than that. So, as far as Gambit was concerned, it's even the game itself was like you're dealing with an anti-mage that's getting crazy farm. It ain't over until the Ancient actually dies in that case. So, game example of that. All right. We got a break, though. We need it. The players need it, I'm sure. But we got game number 2 with Forward Gaming up 1-0 over Gambit Esports right now here for the WePlay Winter Masters. So, again, I was Breaky CPK, joined by BSJ. Jasko going to join us once again as well. Shortly after the break, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Looking very good for Forward Gaming, at least I've got to think of that's the series even, but quite the gap. If you like those odds perhaps yourself, you like Gambit especially perhaps coming back, then take advantage. Head over to es.bet, place your wagers, place your bets. You can take advantage of the insurance. That's also happening right now for the WePlay Winter Madness Tournament. Again, es.bet. Draskell, where you leave us here for the game once again. Your thoughts sound like, again, it's the Shadow Fiend. It's like, okay, it makes sense, but is it really there? Is it really enough?
I mean, he performed earlier when he played this, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a close game, maybe even perhaps a Gambit get a little bit of an upset here.
Man, they're coming off that loss. The mental state has to be a little rough right now, a little rocky, but you know what? You're still in it, just down 1-0 here in this best of 3. So we'll see. Able to climb back and obviously force what would be a game 3. They managed to do so, defeating Forward Gaming, but yeah, difficult task, specifically with the Shadow Fiend matchup in the mid lane. As you have now entered the game, so tipping on either side. But yeah, once again, Resolution getting to play that Huskar. So a little bit of change of pace for him. Ramsey's comfortable on that core.
This is another feels-good jug game. We saw it earlier. I feel like when I have these feel-good jug games, like what I mean by feels-good jug game is I just don't really imagine how you die once you get like 1 or 2 items. Like once you get past the initial phase where you have like no survivability in your itemization, like I feel like if he gets like Manta plus 1 item, he's actually just unkillable this game. And because he has a mag, he can skip the Battle Fury. So I just feel like his game's really easy to play. And Ramses loves being aggressive, and having him on like a very aggressive, survivable hero, I think just is exactly what we saw last game. And I think Jug's a much easier hero to play around than Anti-Mage for like his teammates. Like I talked about the little bit of miscoordination. So I pay attention to Ramses here. Definitely the win condition anytime you're in a Jug Mag lineup. But if Gambit can force like Roshan's, I think a lot of this game will be dependent on who gets the first Rosh. You have a Huskar lineup on one side, and you have a Visage Beastmaster lineup on the other. So both teams have heavy Rosh threats, so whatever team gets off to an early start, that'll almost certainly be the way that they snowball that lead.
Very passive start here as far as the bounty runes go. Just a 2-for-2 exchange. You see at the bottom lane, they're going to do some blocking. We saw another team do this earlier in the event. Kind of blocking the creep wave themselves. Obviously,
it looks like they know there's a lane swap coming, so they're going to try to stall the Beastmaster from getting there and then block the creeps under tower so that the creeps die. And that's a really cool way to handle this. And that's exactly what they're going to do, it looks like.
Yeah.
Skewer him away? No? What did they do? You can't just let him walk by. Oh, that was odd.
I don't know.
I guess they're content with just the lane pushing.
Yeah, I was going to say, he went in power level 1, too. He doesn't want to get skewer at level 1 in that case, so...
I guess this is their way of securing Mag his game without having to help him. Like, they actually just rotate Wyvern mid to help this matchup, and then they rotate the Lich top. So that's a very interesting way to secure Mag his lane by having it push out. They block the pull camp with a sentry, so there's no way to pull the lane back. And now they can just leave Mag alone. That's actually really cool. These are the little things that I love watching pro matches for, because they have a clear-cut plan of how to, like, deal with this snowbally matchup in the laning stage and all these little things. So
yeah.
Very cool.
You got to adjust. We talk about too as Aphanine. She's not doing much talking right now. He's trying to get away. He's going to be fine, but taking plenty of Burning Spear damage as well to pop some more regen. But with this being the new patch, still it's only a couple months in, and it's the only it takes a bit longer, especially when such an overhaul happens, to find the adjustments, find what works best, and we're still to this day, you know, seeing those shifts you're pointing out right there. So we got a major, we got a minor coming up. It'll be extra intriguing to see how those shape up because of said changes, what the teams are doing. But
I get asked about like the dynamics of the safe lane and why certain heroes are better and all that kind of stuff, and I think one of the most notable things is where the creeps meet, is where the creeps are just so much closer to the tower now. And funny enough is Forward Gaming has turned that into, that allows us to block the enemy creeps so that it goes into their tower and we can secure our offlaner that way, which is just so funny how these little changes dictate so much about what strategies and little plays are viable.
Patch 7.21, creeps now have phase effect at level 1.
Yeah, seriously though. Eventually, if this becomes normal enough, that'll probably happen. Like side lane creeps now have phase or something, and
yeah,
it's kind of sad, but like that's generally how these type of things have been patched.
How do you break the game? That's how it's we get those changes. So that trial lane still down there.
Guy.
Magnus, he could be in trouble. I'm watching the mini map. I've seen them wrapping around. So there you go. He's going to go for the TP play, and it is in time. That Soul Assumption nuke, not enough damage, but very close. He TP'd to the tower. I'm guessing he has a salve, and yeah, he's going to start healing up. Middle lane, Winter Wyvern, I guess this is the Wyvern's plan. He's just going to sit mid. Can't the Shadow Feed. They do not want to let him get a good start. And he is right now. To be fair, he is at early levels, but now Wyvern's running in as Alpha 9 pushes up a bit. But, of course, he knows that, so he's going to say hello.
Yeah, I don't think Huskar at this point can threaten a Shadow Fiend alone. Like, he can't afford to Burning Spears him. He'll just eat like 1 or 2 raises, and Shadow Fiend right-clicks for more damage. So this is a matchup where I think they're pretty aware of where their Huskar's at, and they know he needs help, even if the Shadow Fiend's still, quote-unquote, winning the matchup.
There we go again. He's manning up against Resolution. Resolution has to respect that raise. One more auto attack, very far up at the last second, and they get the kill first. Very close call. Could have gone either way, but Resolution, he'll strike first blood thanks to MSS on that Wyvern.
That is so important to shut down the Shadow Fiend's snowball. He was in mid-animation of his raise when he died, too.
Saw that.
So it's amazing how little these things can matter. Like how these little decisions or little barely winning an engagement will have a shift on the game pace.
Top lane, there's that great combo, the Frost Shield spin. Afterlife, he's realizing how powerful it truly is. He is going to survive, though. No salve to pop, but he's got some tangos at least. Yeah, good luck dealing with that. That's
Got
deadly.
to kill some boars, though, so that's a lot of golden XP.
I'll take it. That CS favoring the Dire team a bit. You see Magnus, he's been solo down there pretty much this whole time, right? And it goes back to that whole block initially and helping set up to ideally have a good time. He's top CS. That's a solo Magnus.
Visage just doesn't do anything to him, and he's laning against Visage now, so Visage is a hero with low base damage and real no way to like secure denies. And Magnus just empowers himself and hits creeps with a quelling. There's no real way for them to shut him down.
Yeah. I guess Dazzle's realized that by now, and FNG wants to be useful elsewhere.
Yeah, let Visage get his 6 bottom. I think that's super important. Visage can also really speed up the pace of this game. I think the idea that Gambit has against the Mag first pick is they pick Dazzle, Beastmaster, Visage, these heroes that just want to group up and barrel down lanes. And I think that they're set up to do this, like where they have this timing that they'll hit, or Jug's not quite strong enough yet, and it just comes down to whether or not Forward Gaming can shut down that timing.
5-minute bounty runes. You saw the skewer being used by Magnus at the bottom of the lane. You also have Lich living as he pops a Shrine now. Afterlife could be in trouble. MSS running him down. The Arctic Burn auto attacks. One more regular one needed, and sure enough, it is enough damage for that kill. So the bounty runes, lo and behold, start some action, and another kill for Forward Gaming. Magnus eventually gets spotted out by FNG, but at least that's going to be in Visage. Even more solo experience and free fire to work with, because, yeah, Lord knows he needs it. As you mentioned, get that level 6 especially. That's where he can start actually doing things a bit more effectively. His familiars. Not the fast start, though, like they had their first game earlier on today. Visage looked very good early on, and specifically Shadow Fiend just was going off in that game, and he got the early mech, and they played around that, and that was the tempo. On that note, actually, with the whole mech build into Guardian Greaves, is there any reason why you would see it being different this game, maybe because of the start, or you still expect that?
I'm pretty sure that their game plan remains the same, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that same thing again. I feel like SF as a hero doesn't really fit this meta if you don't go that build, just because this meta is so group up heavy, and that's really the only way SF can play that actually incorporates him into team fights effectively early to mid game.
Immersion, no more dive, 5 more seconds. It's coming up, but nope. The Splinter Blast hits, gets the kill. SVG is going to die in response. Ramsey's pretty deep here. He's got the heal ward though, and his life will start going upwards. FNG though, joining up with the Beastmaster. MSS going to be body blocked, well played by Afterlife, and they are going to kill Wyvern in the end. So finally some good response for Gambit as it ends up being a double kill on the Beastmaster. Triple bracer finished on Huskar meanwhile. That's good luck killing him right now, all that magic resistance in life. And as I say that, they're going to try, but not even close. That with an infused raindrop, I really don't think they're getting a kill on him.
I mean, SF is still winning this lane, and that's a big deal that even with all that help, that SF still wins. I wonder if we'll start seeing more and more SF just because of the popularity of Huskar as a hero. I mean, clearly the matchup is favored towards SF based on what's happened in this game.
That is an odd thing to hear against Huskar, but yeah, it feels like a couple of examples we do have. As Beastmaster finishes Gaze, pulls him in, and you see Wyvern, of course, is finding his time up here now. Get that kill. Universe in trouble. Familiars are out. Soul Assumption is not enough. He's able to make it back to the tower, and we'll probably have to TP back to base, it looks like it. But Visage level 6, and again, goes back to he's ideally going to be a bit more useful now. Almost getting a solo kill. It's top lane. Try versus try. All of a sudden, once again, the Frost Shield goes up. There's a spin. Seen this before. Beastmaster too tanky, though. Is too far away, and the tower's nearby. So Ramsey's having to fall back now. Splinter Blast coming out. Beastmaster running him down, puts the Hawk forward, trying to get some vision for FNG maybe, but MSS ends up killing Phoenix in the back lines as they were so distracted getting tunnel vision, and he might kill Afterlife as well. Gets him low. Not enough damage. FNG's still not out of here yet, though. He needs to make his escape. Frost Blast. No, he's out of range. And the heal ward once again.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And these are where little buffs come into play so much. Jug got that 10 armor buff, or sorry, 10 agi buff at level 1, and that armor makes, he lives with like 20 health there, and that 2 armor is what makes all the difference. It's just so funny to me how little things in Dota, how it make all the difference when these lane matchups come into play. Like previous patch, you wouldn't be able to pick Jug against this. And he's gonna TP out. So close, but the heal bomb not quite enough.
And just that, the knowledge there, like, that knowing that they do not have a stopper, TP's out. Obviously,
it's
no
something that's
problem
always super important to think about on any carry hero specifically, because you know they're always going to try to gank you, and you have to think, like, what are my options when certain heroes come to my lane? And the best players in the world, they always know exactly what they want to do whenever they get farmed on. He's probably thinking to himself, as long as Visage isn't here, I can TP out at any point.
Yeah, you're right. That goes back to the lockdown lacking on the Radiant side, in fact, overall, between Prime Aurora and Visage Familiars. They don't have much else. FNG. Get some Arctic Burn auto attacks, but again, he'll be fine. But yeah, keep looking back at the Shadow Fiend, the CS at least. Now, again, he's probably been into the jungle a couple times. That's what he does, so, you know, take that a little bit skewed, sure, but net worth, I'm sure he's also up there. We'll see that in a second, as we're approaching now 10 minutes in.
He does have the mana boots. He is going the Mech Grease build again.
Okay. Same idea as before. I think we saw Visage get a helm on the Dominator in that game earlier, so probably expect to see that as well.
Curious to see if Ramses goes something like Drums, just something for the early to mid game like Drums Manta, just to be able to fight what the inevitable timing that Gambit is threatening this game.
All 4 bounty runes going the way of forward there. 10-minute mark.
PPD would be correct.
Yeah.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Power's applied, so obviously that's the thing with Empower. In the laning phase, he's not getting advantage with it, but now that we're kind of moving around a bit, Ramses finds himself at the bottom, pushing with Magnus. So Empower buff applied. It's level 2 Empower, but still, does plenty. Here comes the push. Oh, Fire Spirits, those are annoying. Magnus going in. He wants to catch the Phoenix, like, damn you.
He just get out of here. Let us push this down.
Yeah.
That's just him forcing him away. You can't just let him sit underneath his own tower, Fire Spiriting your creep wave.
Oh.
And they're going to lose the catapult because of this chase, but they should be fine to still get the tower, or at least still apply pressure. Jug's happy to be on this part of the map. Huskar's looking in trouble, though. Playing pretty far up against a Beastmaster when he's all alone. And don't even have to roar. Not going to lie, that's just terrible positioning from Rezo. His entire team is showing bottom, so that means that Gambit knows he's alone. and then he's a Huskar against Beastmaster, so there's really like no way for him to escape. Very peculiar choice by him, but either way, Gambit do punish the mistake, and looks like they're going to turn that into a tower push.
Yeah, I mean, net worth-wise, Huskar has been on top right now. He still is even after that death, but obviously a bit of a sloppy death, as you're pointing out, so slow
Very
it down.
odd feed from Rezo there, honestly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Visage now taking advantage of that, and we are going to see the Helm of the Dominator. He went that Medallion first. Helm of the Dominator next. Once he gets that, and the mech comes online for Shadow Fiend specifically, I feel like those are the two key items to really start pushing these objectives if you're Gambit. Now, Universe bottom lane, he has his RP, and he's going to fake it there. It's not worth it to get the Phoenix.
Phoenix, such a good support hero for taking over the dangerous farm, showing how impactful he is, just de-pushing and forcing Forward Gaming to commit a lot of heroes if they want to bring down these towers.
Oh, Rezo wants that damn board. He's not going to get it, though. Ramsey's going Vlad's build, by the way, it looks like. I was kind of curious to hear about that.
Yeah, I like the Vlad's. I said drums, but Vlad's fits exactly what I was thinking too. Just want some early to mid game item that allows him to be more impactful in the fights, since he doesn't need Battle Fury because of the Empower.
Shadow Fiend, I hear the Requiem going off over there, but okay, they're going to turn on the Huskar because of that. I'm pretty sure he life breaked in, expecting to make a play, but gets turned on. MSS in trouble too. He has a curse, not going to come into play though. Promeror just makes sure he stood no chance of getting away right there. You'll see the Alpha Wolf controlled by the Helm of the Dominator, so they're going to go right into the Roshan pit. This should be a very easy Roshan kill. Although Shadow Fiend's not here. A little bit of damage loss.
Plenty of damage. They even have the Wolf.
Yeah. Yeah, they have. Oh, Magnus, he's got RP. No, he did use RP. Never mind. He does not have it. So without RP especially, they do have a Chain Frost as, okay, there goes the Roshan kill. He just picked up by half an inch on Shadow Fiend. Now Resolution showing now. Will this be his third death in a row right now? Well, Doxock actually going to be turned on right here. Visage, the Winchell's curse on him. Resolution jumps in life break, enough damage to get the kill. Omnislash passing around as well. And holy crap, Forward Gaming just cleaning up against Gambit Esports. They're going to take out Shadow Fiend to spawn the Aegis.
I guess that's why those are the odds.
Yeah, exactly. Who are you to question that? So, again, I think sometimes it also means for the series. I'm not 100% sure, but ultra kill for Ramses. But yeah, speaking of those odds, es.bet, you can go play some bets yourself if you like set odds. Right now, though, Forward Gaming after that fight, the odds got to be favoring them pretty heavily because that was a good one.
That's exactly what we talked about at the draft. Is they're gonna represent this timing. Forward Gaming has to make sure they shut it down. And they did. I like how they know they can't really go into the pit and contest, but they know they're still able to fight despite the Aegis, and that's such an important momentum swing. I usually feel like if I'm the Gambit lineup against a Mag Jug, I pretty much just lost the game, but obviously there's still game to be played. It's just a very scary situation to be in now, that they just basically threw all the momentum they had. No more Aegis. Map control goes a lot towards Forward Gaming now, and it just gives them that much more time for this Empowered Jug to become the strongest hero in the game. I have to believe he goes Manta, just because they have so much single target physical damage, and it also synergizes well with the Vlads. But they might get caught here at the Rune, smoked up from Gambit, but that's a spinning Jug.
Ooh, yeah, he started to spin. He gets Promeror, of course, but great skewer away from Universe is going to save the day with an RP, but okay, well, they kill FNG as well with a curse. If Universe also gets out, he is, isn't he? Oh my god, actually, okay, so he used an RP for that, but the fact that everyone lived is pretty big.
Very well played there. Very important that all these little things matter so much in this momentum game. Like, sometimes kills don't really mean that much, but in this game, every kill that Forward Gaming feeds means like 1 or 2 towers just gone. And instead, since they used RP, they're not going to try to fight anymore. They're going to try to trade. And since the map control went in their favor after Roche, they're going to be able to get a trade off of this if Gambit decides to commit to this bottom tower.
Looks like
but Phoenix TPing mid. They look like they want to fight.
Well, Phoenix is here. Yeah, Supernova ready. Got no RP. Which they're aware of. He's being pinged out, though, and he has to Icarus dive away. So Shadow Fiend's still pushing bottom. Looks like Beastmaster's with him. Good combo, of course, for pushing. They are TPing in, though. They're trying to catch somebody with the Familiars, but could not get close enough. So Tier 1 tower down bottom. It's definitely favoring Gambit there as far as that mini exchange. And, I mean, you look at the big picture. It's less than 1,000 net worth lead for Forward Gaming, so as unfortunate of a fight that Roshan was for Gambit, it's still a game that they're most certainly in. You are still scared of the empowered Juggernaut, sure, but this is the timing really where ideally this Radiant lineup should start connecting very well. Like I said, the Guardian Grief purchase is just about finished on Shadow Fiend, and that's where it all comes together.
I think they've got one more chance on the side of Gambit. Like that first one was, you know, slowly but surely, like leading to the death of their lineup. But they have the ability where they're strong enough to still force objectives. There's just going to eventually become a point where they can't walk down lanes because a single RP means they're just going to die. Like even if they get RP'd on like, excuse me, 1 or 2 heroes, they'll still just lose the fight. And that's the point where Jug becomes way too scary. So if they can force the issue before that, then that's the timing they have to hit. But this Jug is a ticking time bomb in this game. Not always is Jug the hardest carry in the game, but this game in particular, there's just no better scaling hero than him. And it looks like Forward wants to force the issue. They probably have a mag blink based on the fact that they're smoked up.
Well, Huskar eventually gets exposed. There's the Guardian Griefs being delivered, by the way, for Shadow Fiend, so he does officially have them now going into a fight. Everything's up on either side. They're still hunting. Forward Gaming wants to find this Afterlife. He's looking for a Promarora opening. Spin from Ramses. There we go. Promarora up on MSS, but the Frost Shield comes out. Wyvern's going to be safe, so not the best Promarora of the century. In fact, Draksy, he gets hit by the curse. Neither that being a good ultimate, so both teams kind of in panic mode of somewhat here. Not really sure what to do. RP still ready for Universe. Charging in. This is a very odd fight right now.
Yeah, they lost vision of the mag with the Beastmaster Hawk. They tried to roar him, and he got canceled mid-animation as mag walked through out of the vision. So a little bit unfortunate on both sides there, but looks like we might still have a fight.
There's the RP. It catches Aphrodite. Omni Slash in the backlines kills Dazzle. Now it's running after Aphrodite. Pasta Guardian grieves. The Requiem goes off, but it just doesn't matter. Never mind. Requiem didn't even go off, actually. He was casting it right there, but he goes down before, and that's now going to be a tower push on top of it. So you called it, man. One more fight maybe to give themselves hope and a chance. But they lose that one pretty decisively in the end, and now Forward Gaming is going to start the snowball.
Really good awareness from Ramses there. Instead of going on the SF with his teammates, he looks in the back lines and takes out the Dazzle, knowing that if he goes on the SF, that's just setting them up to potentially get turned on by the Phoenix Dazzle, like the Dazzle Grave plus the Phoenix ult. And it Visage is a hero that stands his ground, very similar to Huskar, where there's no running away when you're a Visage. And the point where Visage becomes a pretty useless hero is the point where the enemy team can afford to just go on you. And like I mentioned already, they're getting dangerously close, if not already there. So this Jug does have the man to complete, makes him virtually unkillable now that he has that, as long as he gets the spin-off and fights. I'm just not feeling good for Gambit right now. Obviously, they're down to a Jug Mag lineup, but I don't really see a way that their lineup attempts to come back. It's a very momentum, snowball-y based lineup that we saw earlier that kind of relies on just keeping their advantage, and they've lost it at this point.
Yeah, reminds me a lot of like these kind of Drow lineups that we were seeing a bit, especially in the last season of parts, where if you do not get that start that you hoped for as far as snowballing and pushing objectives, then it's a very, very difficult task to come back and win in that one, but not impossible. Oh, especially after last game, what we saw. Definitely not going to say impossible by any means, but it is a very, very big uphill battle. You'll need some mistakes from Forward Gaming. Talked about Ramses. He can be a reckless player sometimes going in there. So maybe
it's a little hard to be reckless on Jug, though. Jug's got like just so much innate survivability, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. It looks like they're just forcing a trade going on the mid lane while the Jug's taking bottom, and 2 free kills on the side of Forward Gaming. Unless he... Will the Burning Spears be enough?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Jug's already threatening bottom lane. And Visage can't really be a hero that responds because his birds can't teleport, so he's just going to stay top. And Wyvern's already TPing in order to slow down the Visage push.
Fire Spirit's already applying, pretty annoying, but spins it off. Illusions have been taken away, though. He TPs to the top lane. That's because who is up? That's the Visage. Speaking of him, he's trying to continue to push. He actually TPs away. No. Yeah, he did TP away. Never mind. Those are the familiars being killed off. So Forward Gaming tried to catch Visage before he could fall back, but he does make it out, and I think you kind of say that's pretty good for Gambit, considering they're behind. They forced a response and lost nothing.
Yeah, successfully avoided a fight there, but at this point, the problem is it's kind of like earlier where we didn't really feel like that Anti-Mage was ever going to carry the game. I don't really see what point Gambit is stronger. And so it looks like they are under the same sense of urgency that I feel they need to be. They're smoked up, Roar, Blink onto MSS.
Oh, the
RP counter initiation, but that might just be enough to save them for now. But just disengage. As long as Forward doesn't lose the game now, I know that sounds kind of weird to say, but as long as they don't lose the game now, they're going to win. So just chill, accept your one loss. They invested a lot in that. No map control is really lost from that for the side of Forward. All that matters is the next Roche. If they get Roche on the side of Forward, I think that's GG. So Gambit knows that's probably their last timing to hit.
Yeah, to Forward's credit, that's exactly what they did right there. They, even with the RP and skewer backwards, Universe picked up on it. He's like, you know what, we're not going to engage or win this fight. I just run away. And so they backed off for sure. Wait for the next Roshan, which is now up, which they're going to scout here in a second. Tier 2 bottom does go down for Gambit, but I'm pretty sure Forward knows.
They want to force reactions bottom and then get out of bottom so that they can play around Roche. They kind of want to force Forward Gaming to shift their attention to the other half of the map, which will allow them to Roche. But Forward Gaming correctly only responds with 1 or 2 heroes to the bottom lane and allows the Jug to just be the survivable wall. That's the problem here, is that he can play like this and defend objectives just by existing. And Team Spirit, or God, I keep seeing all these random names. Gambit, you know, they're trying to bully them out. Like, they're just trying to say, like, oh, I'm scouting, I'm a dazzle. Like, we saw you TP 2 heroes bottom, but this is the virtue of just having the map control on the side of Forward Gaming. And this should be an easy Roche. They should be completely willing to force this fight. No Phoenix Egg. Dazzle's dead for 40. And with the Vlads, it's very safe to attempt this. But Jug instead TP's bottom. So this is the kind of stuff that I learned from. He's realizing maybe that the only way they lose this game is by the split push pressure, potentially getting a free racks or something like that on the Visage Beastmaster. So he wants to secure that all the lanes are pushed in, and he thinks he has that luxury. Almost has that butterfly too, which with Empower is even more insane because you get that bonus damage.
Yeah, and there you go. I think that was probably the biggest reason of anything. Wanted to finish that as soon as possible before they really try a Roshan here. So picks it up, and now it's heading back with the team. That's a little laughter. We're going to make its way to the Roshan pit with Resolution leading it.
That is a scary Jug.
Yes, it is.
36 armor.
Amongst many other things, but yes. 23.5 minutes in as well. That's a big part. As Visage, he's in the northern position. It's just Juggernaut right now in the pit. And obviously, Gambit, they're aware that that's happening. It's just, again, how do you find the angle? Skewer, gonna miss. Universe trying. He's got the RP ready if needed. Doxock sending in the familiars. They hear the promo on the back. Let's catch an MSS. And not enough follow-up damage. So once again, Rugby goes up, but F9's caught by the Winter's Curse. It's just immersion. Gets a couple of heroes beating into him. Not the most damage though, but now it comes out Alni Slash, and that's plenty of damage. Shallow Grieve on himself. FNG. Oh no, they lose a Shadow Fiend, but he buys back immediately. The Phoenix Egg did go off right there. 2 are dead, which is Wyvern as well as Juggernaut, who's staying dead, by the way. Resolution's now in trouble too. Buyback from Lich is not going to matter, and, well, Gambit, they are going to take the Roshan for themselves. The Phoenix Egg worked.
Yeah, the Jug, I actually think him TPing bottom there was a big mistake. I don't think you need the butterfly. Like, they waited until Phoenix Egg was up, and then Gambit was strong enough to fight them there, and they lost the healing ward to a boar, and then proceeded to still try to finish the Roche. And Gambit, well done capitalizing on the mistakes of Forward. Huskar dieback there. RP was expended. They might just get a lane of racks here.
Well, well, well. The things are shifting again, similar to the first game.
That's why we play the game. Even if you think they're in a rough spot, that's why the game is still being played.
Play to win the game. Just trying to force stuff there. Ramsey's, he's doing what he can, but yeah, the melee racks is picked up. Appo9's gaze back in. He's skewered in now, and team is forced to react a little bit. Icarus dive. SVG might fall for this. Okay, well, that's a reaction. They kill the Lich, and then they back off without losing Shadow Fiend. So I think it's going to come down to somewhat similar to last game. It's going to be a lot more of a split push now from Ramsey's. Perhaps that they're going to rely on here for Forward Gaming.
FNG, you're 6 slotted. Put your items in your inventory.
Dyer's top shrine
5
has fallen.
branches.
Hey man, you gotta make do with what you got.
Yeah. Doxocki's, but look at we haven't talked a lot about Visage, I suppose, but Crimson Guard and AC now finished.
They are tanky as all hell. If they can actually survive the RP Omni Slash, then The damage output from forward is heavily lacking. Huskar, honestly, at this point, is pretty negligible with all the teamfight items that Gambit has. All this sustain, all this tank ability. Has the Manta on the Shadow Fiend, which is actually really good against the Omni Slash as well as the Huskar. So that's another benefit of survivability for the Shadow Fiend. BKB not really doing much this game because he just dies to all the single target damage.
That Manta style finished 2 on Shadow Fiend, and yeah, you mentioned the cheese and the Aegis. Also, level 20 is almost there, and I got to figure he's going to start transitioning more into this right click, if anything. So definitely that steroid talent of the Souls we'll see as well.
Dire's middle tower is under
and he's going to hit pretty hard. Even though going Guardian Greaves first, he's still going to be quite a threat.
Oh, Shadow Fiend does a ton of innate damage, so whenever people see him build these type of items, they seem to think, like, why isn't he building the right click? It's like the hero has a free 72 damage and minus armor. He does a lot of damage, and eventually he will build items to deal damage, as you said. So there's no way that this Greaves implies he isn't implying to try to carry this game.
Oh, yeah.
Or intending to carry this game, excuse me. And they are up by 6K, man. What a game Dota is. Suddenly, you know, thought Gambit had the control, then they were down by 4K. Thought Forward Gaming couldn't lose. Now they're up down by 7K on Forward Gaming. Looks like they're looking to make a smoke wrap around here. Can they get the initiation they want? They have the ward placed. They see the Shadow Fiend, but he just dewards it with what? Oh, they already had a sentry there, I guess, from the Roche fight.
Yeah. I'm going to take care of it quickly. It's an unfortunate circumstance there as far as the ward placement goes, but Forward Gaming falls back as a team, realizing that's the case. Not going to give them an opening, and can still have the Aegis on Shadow Fiend. He handed off the cheese to somebody else, perhaps Visage, but both of those they still have to worry about. The Aegis still a couple of minutes, I want to say, as the mid-tier 2 goes down. Do they try to go uphill here if you're Gambit? They're going to make their way towards the middle lane, it looks like. Push the tower. Familiar is going to be disarmed. RP, skewers in, Mantis down, not going to work right there. He gets skewered back in. Prom Aurora on top of Universe, though. He's going to be caught with the Cold Embrace. He still has the RP, can't get it off, however. As the Requiem went off from Aphanite, mitigating damage, remember, as well as everything else. Ramsey is still strong on the front lines, though. They killed the Phoenix as Magnus got very low. No, he doesn't. He does die. However, he buys back. So does Phoenix. The fight continues. I hear the Winter's Curse going off right there, I believe. And the back lines, yeah, the RP on top of that, and a buyback from Dazzle as he dies. But Shadow Fiend, he's tanking, man. He's not tanking up. He goes down. That's just an Aegis, though. Remember, Resolution Cold Embrace will save for the time being. Shadow Fiend's coming back up, though. He's got some raises for his face. Triple kill for Doxock on the Visage anyways. And Huskar staying dead. Juggernaut had to buy back for this, too, remember. Omnislash is bouncing around. There's so many units nearby, though. He kills a Familiar, but that's it. That's all he really killed right there. Look at Shadow Fiend. Another Greaves. He's back to full life, full mana. Kill the Rax. Well, now Aphanite's at half-life. But he's fine.
Apparently you can Omni-Slash Familiars that are on the ground. Like, that are in their immune form. So that's kind of unfortunate. I did not know that interaction. So that just wasted like 2 or 3 slashes from the Jug there. Which is a significant amount of damage when you're empowered. And suddenly, with all these buybacks, they're up by 11K with another lane of Rax. Game is looking better and better for Gambit. I'd say it's very similar to last game, though, where you are at all points vulnerable to this game getting turned around in favor of Forward Gaming. So Gambit has to continue to play carefully. They've taken the shrines. They've taken all the map control they need. Chill out until the next Roche. Make sure you don't feed any deaths. Like, doesn't mean you have to do nothing, but
yeah,
you know, play a clean game, get the next Roche, and you're good to go. Blink on the Jug in order to help follow up the RP. It feels like most of the RPs the Jug has not been able to hit anybody for.
You also see that level 15 talent. I think it's worth reiterating with this lineup, especially that Presence Aura affects buildings from the Shadow Fiend. And with this Visage pushing especially as well, it's no wonder these objectives are melting.
Yeah, that talent got significantly buffed by virtue of the fact that when you're 5-manning, the towers no longer gain any armor, and with the change to armor, all the towers have way less like built-in armor. So instead of reducing the armor by like 20% like it used to, it probably reduces most towers by 30-40% armor, which is very significant when you're a grouped up physical damage lineup like this. You see this DD. This could be the turning the tides DD if they manage to force a fight. They do bottle it on the Jug. That's super important. That's a 370 damage on Jug.
Trying to make use of it and has that blink dagger. In fact, he blinks in there, but that's Ramses. He's pretty far up. They turn and he respects it. He backs off, joins back with the team. So forward. Do they really want to try for a push here? Again, Roshan is up in potentially in another minute and a half or so. We'll see what it's actually looking at, but yeah, they're not going to try to break high ground. FNG's just pushed out the bottom lane. They are heading that direction. Trying to see if they can catch him. But Dazzle just trying to be a little crafty here. Glimmer, Cape TP. There you go. He distracted. Well played getting back. Plays like
playing
that.
The dodge game. Don't give forward the gaming the fight they need. That's all they got to do. Avoid fighting. Don't give the RP. At this stage, if the game goes normally, then Gambit will win. But if there's some chaotic shenanigans that result in a 3-4 man RP, that's going to be how forward gaming wins this game.
There's a butterfly. So yeah, I think it's safe to say Shadow Fiend is a damage threat if he wasn't already. Go with that level 20 talent.
Sure.
Oh, he's hitting extra hard now. Still has the cheese on him, remember. That's given over. So Roshan, we're going to find out in a second here if it's a fast or a slow one. And then both teams, no doubt, can interact around that. It's a tier 3 Roshan as well, so Refresher Shard to go with everything else. Obviously, both teams would heavily benefit from it. And it's a fast one. It's going to be next 20 seconds or so, it'll be up. No vision in that area right now, though. So neither team will know initially. Juggernaut, it's been a while since, I mean, we saw the Blink Dagger, but obviously he bought back the previous fight as well, so things slowed down a little bit for the Juggernaut, but he gets another double damage, by the way. Or no, that was one he had bottled. Never mind. Just finally activated it. Point is, though, it's his next item has to be coming soon. In fact, now seeing the butterfly, do you think something like an MKB? Oh, no, he's going to miss.
I think he has to itemize for himself. I don't think he can really afford to itemize to like counter the Shadow Fiend. I think he has to build like Scotty or Abyssal or something. Something that makes him harder to bring down and able to man up in these fights. Because he is actually dying in these fights. He is susceptible to getting bursted. Or not bursted necessarily, but kind of worn down over the course of the fight. And they're doing a really good job of sniping the healing ward. It's a crucial part of Jug's kit. And they're setting summons on it really well. The Visage Birds are actually quite good at killing the healing ward. And when the healing ward's down, Forward Gaming's team fight's way worse than Gambit's, just because they have so much poke damage and damage over time on the side of Gambit. It looks like they're going to secure this Roche for free. I don't think Forward's going to make it in time.
Wow. They scan them coming over. Look at who's blue. That's Dazzle's going to just be a distraction, if anything. But yeah, they do not get there nearly in time.
Really good positioning to break the smoke with the Hawk vision, so he knows exactly what's coming.
Yeah, standing in the trees right there, so he got forward. Pretty frustrated, I'm sure, after that, but have to accept it. They have another Aegis now, another cheese. I think that's still the cheese from before on Shadow Fiend, so I believe they have a second one. And then the refresher, who did they give there? Well, probably Phoenix?
Beastmaster.
Beastmaster, you think? Okay, Beastmaster. That's it.
He does have pipe as well. He has like mobility items, so the roar could be used quite effectively as well.
Yeah.
Like because of all this mobility. Catching the Wyvern or the Lich is super important here. The supports are super valuable to these fights for the side of Forward Gaming.
Who's that? Juggernaut. He's going to fall back before he gets got over there. Another 2,200 gold saved up on Shadow Fiend, by the way. Still sitting on that casual Wraith band. That's how good that item is, man. Who's down here? That's Magnus trying to catch it. You can tell that they keep trying to catch somebody, but FG just spread out enough to prevent themselves from getting caught. In fact, Universe is collecting the bounty runes down here, so well played.
And Jug actually had an illusion rune in the bottom lane, so that's applying a decent amount of pressure to the bottom lane, which is nice for side of Forward Gaming. Eventually somebody on Gambit will have to respond to that.
Phoenix. Heaven's Halberd has 3,500 gold saved. I was going to say Shiva's usually a pretty popular item on a more farmed Phoenix, so he queues it up there. Something to expect to come down the line. Oh yeah, Visage was the other one. Did he finish the Scythe? He might have actually had the Scythe being delivered there. He had a Axe queued up earlier for that third familiar, but he's choosing the Scythe instead for crowd control. And they're looking for an opening. Phoenix going in. Afterlife, he jumps SVG. There's one from Aurora. Should be a free kill. Gold Embrace, that's just going to delay things a little bit. So Lich out for 45. Just sitting in their base. Not much more they can do once again on the side of forward game, and they have to respect the Roshan tools that were given. Juggernaut has to have something else by now. What did he buy? I wish they'd click on him.
They haven't shown him yet. He has to have bought a full item by now.
Yeah.
Scotty, yeah.
Is it Scotty? Okay.
It was either Scotty or Abyssal, whatever he thought was more necessary. He just needed to tank up and be able to stick on targets.
3,800 gold saved up as well. So, Resolution. He gets jumped off the bat. Already popped the inner fire. The immersion pops the refresher shard, and he goes for the egg, but it's still going to die, it looks like. Yep, a little too far up right there from immersion. Now on the backline, Draksy. He's caught by the Witch's Curse. Alpha 9's beating into him with the right clicks. Out comes the RP. Oh, that was weird. Pushback after the fact. Don't even know what just happened right there. Either way, Omni Slash is bouncing around. You can see that from Ramses. Alpha 9 gets low, but the cheese, he uses it. Requiem comes out as well. Afterlife's going to be saved by the Shallow Crave, and they're turning on the side of Gambit. They take on Magnus. He buys back immediately as Phoenix bought back as well, trying to come back into the fight. Ramsey's getting somewhat low, has to spin for the Grave Chill, and the slow of him. You see Draksy in the midst of it. He is still beefy as hell. The Soul Assumption and nuke down Huskar, who has a buyback, but they're going for the racks now. Just look at how fast those things die. Fortification will be used at the last second, but the melee's taken out. We're 2 racks away from Mega Creeps on the side of Gambit.
I didn't want to interrupt you in the middle of the fight, but Shadow Fiend Manta dodged that RP, so that's what happened there.
That's what it was? Okay.
Yeah, so that was pretty sick play from Shadow Fiend. The thing is, Universe did hold the RP just a little bit too long after the Winter's Curse. It gave them the time where he wasn't stunned anymore in order to be able to dodge it, but either way, it's always impressive when somebody Manta dodges an RP.
And I think I saw the inner fire.
I think Shadow Fiend would have just died there. I think he would have just died because he would have been sucked in and stunned for the RP duration, but instead all they got was, I believe like the Visage or something is all they got.
It also looked like to me Huskar did his pushback ability as the RP hit as well, so like everyone kind of just spread after the fact too.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what was so funky.
Some synergy there.
Yeah. But either way, it's Gambit wins another fight, and again, 2 racks away from claiming Mega Creeps as mentioned. The Shadow Fiend, he's going to have an eye Scotty. He's got 6,600 gold saved up, so just a matter of getting it purchased. And there's the MKB purchase by
Yeah, now that you're 6 slotted, you kind of got to get it. He had to go one more tanky at him first, but now you gotta be able to deal all the damage your team needs. This Huskar is pretty useless, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it really is odd to almost suggest that, again, from Resolution, I mean, the player that he is, but in both games, Huskar, unfortunately, has had very minimal impact. There in Game 1, now Game 2. It hasn't played out for him as far as the usefulness of the hero, it seems like, but I suppose he is still a disarm that he can provide, has that going for him because of his new tool set.
One of the weirdest changes of 7.20 that I don't really understand when they changed cleave was you used to be able to cleave on Jug when you spun. Like if you spun, you'd be able to clear creep waves and hit people during RP. But now you no longer cleave on spins. So kind of a weird change. I don't think the cleave changes should have mattered, but it does matter in this game because there's a lot of crowd control that doesn't affect him only when he's spinning, and that makes it so he can't spin to hit people.
There's the scythe finish. So yeah, Visage hadn't even finished it yet, but does pick up the scythe now and has more crowd control to work with here. I suppose another Roshan is definitely where this game could head as we're now 40 minutes into the game. You see the rune control. Invis going to be picked up by Juggernaut there. Just before Afterlife can make his way over. There's an Arcane Rune at the bottom, which also going to get Beastmaster, but that's a Refresher Orb that he has.
And he's bottled up the Arcane Rune on Universe, so he'll have Arcane Rune RP next time they fight, if that's any time in the next couple minutes. That Phoenix Dive is always a funny one. The bajillion ranged Phoenix Dive.
Icarus Dive. 28,000 net worth. Top of the charts is continuing to be by far on top. Obviously, the Empower tool helps that, but a lineup here on Gambit's side that kind of talking about has this idea that they want to win fast, win early. So it's going to be a struggle, but what is going on, by the way? I feel like they are initiating. Okay, the smoke up, they're running in. That was Resolution up there with the BKB, but Alpha 9's able to respond. I believe we got a Glimmer Cape, and You look at how slow Gambit's playing this. They're just resetting. Doxock, they'll cut down by the shallow grave at the last second from the Nami Slash. Gonna survive for now. The Soul Assumption, multiple targets coming up for the Talon. And Universe has to get the hell on out of there. He still has his RP. He will survive. Oh, the eggs hit. Ramses gets caught. He's trying to spin out right now. Doxock doing plenty of damage. He spins back in. He says, all right, we're going to fight this. Resolution goes down, though. Ramses, this balls to the wall right here, but he's going to go down as a result. He buys back. Resolution staying dead in the midst of this fight. Forward Gaming just cannot complete their task. Universe, he got his RP off eventually. Doesn't matter. He goes down, too. And that could do it. That could be the opening for Gambit to finish this game.
Yeah, they don't have any Magnus for this Jug. That's like half of his net worth in terms of like he relies on that cleave and damage, and he just can't carry this alone, even with the RP or even with the Magnus and power. It looks like, and this Gambit lineup is just so scary when they're grouped up as 5, and now they're built. Oh my God, the buildings with the minus 12 armor, 11 armors. Ugh.
Yeah, he got the talent too. It's at 25. It's just GG. I mean. They're buying back on Wyvern, but without Magnus, without Huskar, there's no way you're saving that Ancient. That'll do it. Gambit takes game 2. We are going to a game 3 as a result. Whew, this has turned out to be not only that first game especially so intense, but the series is turning out to be one of the better ones casted in a while. And excited to see how it all finishes up in game 3. It could definitely be either way at this rate.
Yeah, for sure. Just a little bit of sloppiness from Forward Gaming in regards to that Roche attempt. I already highlighted Ramses waiting until the Dazzle was alive as well as the Phoenix Egg, but also just the fact that they lost Healing Ward and then proceeded to try to finish off the Roche. Healing Ward's so important in these fights because of all the poke damage that they had. So they would just Gambit saw that the Healing Ward was down and they just took the fight real slow and wore down Forward Gaming, and that was like, in my opinion, the turning point of the game. It went from a 4K lead for Forward, and then it led to like a 6K lead from Gambit, and they just took complete control from there. And that's how Dota works, you know. one or two big mistakes away from just throwing a one game.
You know, Gods pointed out earlier when we saw Visage picked up by Gambit and that dominating victory over Pavag in their first series, that he actually has the highest win percentage in top-tier games right now in terms of pubs. But it's very low picked in the sense that you're only going to pick him if you're very comfortable with the hero. Doxock is that comfort factor, right? We've got to see that now twice, and this was the more drawn-out game. It's like, okay, what can you do in the later parts? He's just that heavy aura carrier that also is very difficult to kill and constantly being a nuisance in these fights. And his burst damage is potentially very high as well with that Soul Assumption. So I think, I don't know about banning a Visage by any means, but it's kind of nice to have a player that can play Visage comfortably, it seems like.
Absolutely. I think that next game I want to see from Forward, I like to not see Huskar. I don't think that's Resolution's hero, nor has it like been very impressive this entire series. Mm-hmm. So I personally not only want to see Gambit stick to their comfort zone heroes that they showed in that game, but also I want to see Forward mix it up a little bit.
Here we go. Game number 3. Going to go into a short break, but Forward Gaming versus Gambit Esports. This is a quarterfinal matchup here for the WePlay Winter Madness Tournament. The winner moves on to the semifinals. They'll be playing NiP tomorrow. The loser is done in this 8th place spot as a result. We'll see who wins. We got game number 3 starting up next. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back. And a pretty quick response at Gambit as they're going to go Undying. Don't see a lot of Undying right now in this event at least, but it's picked up here as far as Gambit is concerned, and that probably means a Core Dazzle.
Well, I think actually what they might be doing here is because we've already talked about how Visage is such a weak lane support that you could just pair the Undying with it, and that's kind of like, you know, you pick a Drow, you pick a Luna, you want to put an Undying in that lane. I think that it's entirely possible, like you said, that there could be potentially a mid-dazzle, or in all likelihood they're thinking about how they want to like last pick counter the Medusa if it does end up going mid, because they do have last pick in this game, and 10th pick is very, very strong. So they're kind of just setting themselves up for flexibility, I feel.
Yeah. I think, yeah, even the off-lane Dazzle, of course, is fine, too, and then still just set up for your mid-hero with the last pick. But exactly, just kind of with the final pick overall, you can pick what you feel is best, knowing what you're going up against as a full. You like the Undying pick, BSJ?
Yeah, I think it synergizes with their game plan. Everything Draksy already said, but also the fact that they just want a 5-man. They just want to barrel down lanes. They just it helps their laning stage, so they get there sooner. And then it also the tombstone is quite powerful thus far. It's just a matter of what Forward Gaming wants to pick to possibly bring down the tombstone. But most of the carries like PL and stuff that bring down the tombstone, you don't really want to pick with Medusa. I'm thinking something like Troll again, just something mid game heavy. I would like to see maybe even like a Morphling from Forward Gaming that just might be a little too greedy. Oh, Morphling's first round. Yeah, I didn't even look for that like in the first round, man. Just some attack speed hero that kills this tomb, because I kind of feel like that's going to be the job of this hero that's coming out. But they might just, not listen to me at all on that one.
You might not be right, which is fine.
Which I might just be wrong with everything I say.
It's okay.
PA though. I feel like both PA and Medusa don't like to fight in the early to mid game. Like they both require time and passivity. Like they want the enemy team to not be walking down lanes. They both kind of suffer from similar weaknesses. And I don't feel like they necessarily have enough to protect this Dusa. Like usually you can say, well, maybe just Dusa defends the towers while PA farms and Medusa will get the tower farm. But I feel like Gambit will just kill the Medusa with the backup she has at this current moment. So I think Forward either needs to give this Medusa some defensive support, or they're going to be in some trouble. I guess Lich would have done a good job.
My take on the PA is that even though the hero isn't necessarily like the fastest, you still have one more pick. And in my opinion, Phantom Assassin is probably one of the more stable heroes against Visage, because Visage is never going to be able to get True Strike via birds unless you get like Bloodthorn or something, right? So you're looking at a hero where the evasion is going to be like full effect the entire game. And that's one of the biggest drawbacks of PA. The later you go, more MKBs, hero kind of becomes a little bit squishy. So I think it could just be something that they're going to try to maybe play fast tempo with, go for like SNY or maybe like early Vlads, whatever, and just kind of run around and create some havoc. I could see it working, but at the same time, again, Gambit do have 10th pick, and 10th pick really scares me when it feels like your lineup isn't really coming together.
They banned the Huskar, and yeah, it feels like that would have probably been a pretty good final pick for sure. And obviously, Rezo hasn't been, unfortunately, having the great success on it for Forward Gaming side, but I'm sure Gambit wouldn't mind having it themselves. So I'll take that away. We're figuring this is going to be a support option, all right? And that's why they even banned the Lich. As you mentioned, of course, great combo with Grimstalk, good synergy with Phantom Assassin. Is there another one of those on the board that comes to mind?
Maybe like it's a support. I was gonna say Sand King's not farming. Maybe like a DS or something, but it's the Phoenix. Okay.
All right.
I mean, there's not really that good of egg hitters on the side of Gambit right now. Like, you don't have anyone really that wants to buy BKB necessarily. And now the last pick from Gambit is most likely going to be mid, and it's most likely going to have to be a hero that can also hit egg. I still think Troll is a good option, like BSJ alluded to earlier.
Or more mixed damage with like a Lina.
Yeah, Lina could work, but it's kind of scary because you can get jumped on by the PA and the Sand King. There is a save on your team, but you're relying pretty heavily on your team. They just don't care. They're shadow fiending again. They have a lot of faith in this hero, and they just won with it, and they won earlier, I believe, as well with the same type of lineup. So, don't fix what ain't broke.
After that last game, I'm a lot more confident, I gotta say, because the fact that they were able to take it into the later game and it still do very well, I think is the biggest thing that sold me personally. So, I'm fine. I'm fine seeing the Shadow Shaman, or Shadow Fiend, excuse me. Shadow Shaman would have been really interesting as that final pick, but absorbing that a little bit more. So, Draskell, it sounds like, could you see Gambit pulling up the upset here, taking it 2-1?
I mean, I'm not gonna doubt their Shadow Fiend. I did it twice today, and I was wrong both times. Well, actually, the other time I assumed they were gonna win, but I was thinking in the back of my mind that I might lose to Huskar. The Medusa matchup is interesting. I think it's quite hard for the SF early, but again, he can recover. He gets his Greaves. He can hit the egg because he can dispel the Fire Spirit's debuff if he goes the Greaves build. So it does kind of solve that issue too. I'll go Gambit. I think they got this.
That would be something. They're able to pull through here. BSJ, what about you in that Shadow Fiend pickup? You sold on it now, especially after the last game. Think it's going to do well?
I just personally feel like it's really hard for Forward to get past this like mid to early game where they're like going to lack damage. Their only damage is really Sand King and Phoenix, which is like limited in the early levels, and PA Medusa take a while to actually do damage. So I just feel like playing PA in these games is really hard, and I want to be wrong, but I think Gambit is going to win this game.
So those odds on your screen right there, es.bet. You can head on over. It's still favoring forward, but ever so slightly. That's probably one of the closest we've had, especially now going into Game 3, of course, and understandably, I could see this going either way at this point, but es.bet, place those bets in, and you can also take advantage of the insurance taking place here for the WePlay Winter Madness. Head on over. All right, during the game, though, we're getting into the game now, as we got Game 3, and this to decide it, who will move on and play Ninjas in Pajamas in the semifinals, and who will be knocked out here in the 5th through 8th place spot. Well, the tipping's coming out initially. It's going to be Universe heading towards the bottom lane on the Sand King. Going to be in a safe lane, so running the aggressive. Also, I guess you can kind of look at it, too, having both Ramses and Resolution. I mean, they're both getting to play a hero that they're kind of used to a little bit more as far as being that farm focus, a core here. So in that aspect, maybe it's good, but there's only so much farm to go around at the same time, so...
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I feel like Medusa is much more of a resolution type hero than Huskar is.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of more of a pace setter, it's just like an efficient, farm the right parts of the map kind of hero, and eventually get 6 slotted. I think Resolution is one of the best in the world at playing that role in the game. So we'll see how it pans out. In no way do I think like Forward Gaming is heavily do I believe Gambit's heavily favored here, but I do just feel like PA Medusa is similar to the Lifestealer Medusa and the other stuff we saw yesterday, that just 2 slow heroes that don't want to fight, and this patch just seems so fast. The Core Dazzle, the Core Shadow Fiend, Core Visage. This game, since it's a Visage lineup, it's going to take maybe 10 to 12 minutes before they really ramp up the pace, but I'm just scared for Forward in that period of time, because Medusa and PA will not be fight ready at that moment when they have that timing. But they are trying to slow down this Visage, so this aggro tri-lane may have a significant impact on how late that timing actually arrives. And in that case, would be a big deal for Forward.
SVG, he's already setting up here at the top. Going to be partnered up with, well, it is that trial lane, so yeah, with the Phoenix as well as the Phantom Assassin. Setting up 3 versus 2. FNG, though, you're not dying. Of course, he doesn't mind going up against multiple heroes. In fact, he likes it. At the decay, so obviously they're doing a good job of spreading out initially, but he's able to hit multiple targets with that decay. Sounds a difficult target to kill himself. Gonna harass quite a bit. For now, he's going to use him on Phantom Assassin, who's at the lane, trying to farm. The Visage putting in damage. There's a bottom lane. You see Earth Spirit getting a pull off to start. Nothing's going to stop him there. It's just the Sand King. Not much you can do about it. So they're going in. Doxock, he's a little too far away, though. So you saw that Ink Swell applied, and he doesn't have Phantom Strike yet, though. So without that, they're probably not going to get a good chance to jump.
Trying to get that pull off on the Phoenix. If he gets it, looks like he got part of the creep wave. Pretty important in these tri-lane scenarios that you get a couple pulls off to equalize the XP game. But it looks like the dual lane's already level 2, and the tri-lane's only level 1. So going really well for Team Spirit thus far. Might get the kill here.
Yeah, there.
That's first blood. I don't know if I'm ahead of you right now.
Slightly ahead, maybe like a second or 2 at the most. But.
Okay, quick pause here. But either way, yeah, the fact that you have level 2 on the dual lane before the tri-lane had level 2 is super important. They utilize that timing really well. You can get the kill on the Grimstroke. And that's pretty scary when you're a tri-lane versus dual lane and you're giving a kill. Visage also gets the last hit on that big creep.
Yeah, saw that one. I think we're lined up. Soul Assumption, you also kind of see, again, it's not even at level 1. It could do so much damage with those charges added up, and going to get a couple more right here as they dive in with that Ink Swell, but obviously not the easiest target to kill in Earth Spirit. Even TP's in, so once again going to turn it into that try versus try lane. And Gambit has an opening to go in, and we already saw the damage again of Visage that he could put out. In fact, they are going to jump Ramses right here. Grave Chill, he Phoenix Strikes, or not Phoenix Strikes, jumps to his teammate. SVG, dear God, that decay rips away plenty of his life. So Ramsey's going to apply damage to FNG now, but obviously he's got decay stacks added up, so he's feeling fine. In fact, stun hits, and down goes Ramses. What? Okay. He had 12 stacks of decay on him, so yeah, I don't think he realized that.
Yeah, Undying has 24 stacks, so he hits for 87 damage. Not only does it take health, but it gives the Undying damage, so he hits like a truck. Ramsey's TP's bottom, actually, realizing that lane's just not going to work out for him. But now you're TPing into a level 4 Dazzle, so the supports are going to have to follow you. This is just an awkward moment when you try lane unsuccessfully. I think it's still the correct option. Or I guess only a level 3 Dazzle, but now a level 4. It's definitely still the better option for Ramses. At the bottom lane, they have pull opportunities to make it so he can farm under tower. And FMG does the casual feed under tower. Must have been a misclick. No, I'm kidding. It's something we see every day, but somehow people still lull about it. It's just quicker way back to base. Now the neutrals take 26 seconds to respawn if you kill yourself to a neutral.
Yeah, that's another one of those. We're kind of talking about the whole creepy manipulation last game. You kind of wonder if that's going to be addressed too, because the idea of just suiciding yourself into a tower being the efficient play seems a little off. But
yeah, it does seem a little wonky for sure.
That's what he does there.
Nice rotation.
Earth Spirit's good at that. It's not going to be enough damage though. No poison on him. He'll live, but trying to at least go for it, and Afterlife continues to farm at that bottom lane. FNG at the top. He's going to get cut off. Medusa. Not often you see a roaming Medusa. I guess a haste rune helps.
Medusa haste rune gank, yeah. Pretty much what stops Medusa ever from ganking or like even going anywhere is the fact that she's super slow. So the haste rune definitely makes up for that. Obviously, she has no like stuns or anything, but if she can get there real quick and get there and get back to mid lane before losing any creeps, that's super efficient.
Yeah.
SF winning mid again, though.
I just noticed that. 24-10 in that mid. So Medusa keeping it close somewhat, but yeah, the 10 denies especially, so maxing out those souls. And obviously going to continue momentum off of it as well. As 5-minute bounty runes coming up. Earth Spirit, he's already going to take the bottom one as F9 wants to calm it down a little bit. Those at the pause. I honestly always kind of wonder if, like, this early on maybe not so much, but when a pause comes out and no one actually says anything, it's just strat pauses happen. Have you found yourself doing those in games before, as these tournament matches where you kind of pause the game just to simply, get composure?
I'd say very rarely, but I'd say on teams I've been on like maybe once or twice that it's been like there's a lot of chaos going on in chat, or like feels like the team's not focused, or something terrible just kept happening, or those are fewer and far between. Usually it's like somebody has something going on behind them or some random thing in real life that is bothering them and they have to take care of it real quick.
It's usually a good excuse. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, usually it's reasonable. I would say that strat pauses very rarely happen from my experience.
Like the cat's on fire or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Ramses, he's going to survive, but again, plenty of damage. Earth Spirit good at doing that, and Fire Spirit's being annoying, but rolls in, combos. Ramses just feels like he is having a difficult time no matter where he goes. 22-2 CS right now at the bottom.
Most notably, Visage got aggro tri-lane and is third on the CS right now.
Good point. Yeah, Draksy, he's still keeping his distance right here, and obviously with the Sand King being able to stun him, but he's managing decent CS as you pointed out, and I expect the same build really with him, as well as Shadow Fiend for that matter. There's no reason why they're going to be changing that up. It's similar idea, just group up, get those early items to push objectives.
Grimstroke Tiki bottom, looks like they were ready to go here.
There's that combo. Inkswell, it's going to connect. Afterlife, he doesn't have Shallow Grave yet, not that surprising this early on, but probably wishes he does now. Either way, he goes down. Yeah, good rotation.
Yeah, good timing, good prediction. He predicted that the Dazzle would be playing up with the Catapult Wave, trying to apply a little bit of pressure on the tower. But meanwhile, the Punish coming out in the mid lane, and Resolution should go down, and he does barely.
Very fire. He also has a diffuse range drop, but cooldown already popped.
That mid tower's going to take a lot of damage. The support's already TP'd bottom, and Medusa's dead. Sand King's just going to chill top. So that's a pretty important kill just by the fact that the tower's going to take a pretty decent chunk of damage here. Especially with the Medusa, a hero that is traditionally known for defending her mid tower.
Yeah, F9's having a fantastic game once again on the Shadow Fiend, and setting themselves up to have this early lead. As you take a look at the net worth now, and no surprise there, see Shadow Fiend on top. And woo, those are some even odds if I've ever seen them before. 1.87 for either one. It's no doubt could go either way, so like to see that. You head over to ES.bet. You can take advantage of set odds on your screen. Put in your wagers. Again, ES.bet, and the insurance also in play here for the WePlay Winter Madness tournament. But Universe doing what he can at the top lane to get some farm and perhaps some Blink Dagger sooner than later. But we'll probably see more of the tankier build early on. Seems like Sand Kings like that. The auras. Ramses, is he dead again? Nope. Stick. Or Wand more so will save him, but again, just so
Poison
low.
touch. It hurts.
It does.
They have no shrine, so he has to base.
No.
He has no TP, no shrine. Has no boots either, so he's walking. The walk of shame, 312 move speed.
Ooh.
Put the Wraith Band in your inventory. That's 2 move speed. Sorry.
Not everyone's as experienced.
Man. It's the little things, man. That's like Grant's equivalent of yelling at a guy not getting a deny when there's nobody else there or something for the 7 gold. So it looks like this game, honestly, I'm favoring the pace for Gambit. Visage is off to a good start. They have 3 of the top 4 net worths. And honestly, it's just a game where if Visage is not having a bad start, you're happy. I think that they're going to hit that timing, and the only hope I really thought I had for Forward in the mid game was the fact that they were slowing down the Visage. But I'm just scared of this impending time bomb that they're threatening on the side of Gambit. But they do have the Medusa, so as the game goes on, it gets easier for sure.
Yeah.
But with these like Crimson items that are becoming mid game, you can pretty much ignore the Medusa. And PA is off to a really slow start too, as well. Level 4, I believe she was. Yeah, just turned level 5, 9 minutes in.
And she's also in the middle lane where Medusa is, so again, it clearly Ramses is just not too happy with how this game's playing out. He's rotating between the lanes constantly. Now he's going to come back to the top lane, so Universe is currently pushing out this wave here. But now PA is going to take over and continue to play that recovery game. But this goes back to the draft. I mean, you picked a PA with a Medusa. It's just a very kind of safe playing, we want to farm, and obviously Gambit's abusing that fact, as they should be, at least early on. So now Ramsey's pushing this top, level 5. He's got Earth Spirit behind him, doesn't know that. Earth Spirit just hiding in the trees. If there's a TP that comes in, they could make a play, but looks like, I guess, the 10-minute bounty runes are coming. That's where the action will be instead. Noxoc with the familiars flying over. To see if he can catch somebody, and that's somebody. I think he's caught the PA. There you go. PA's dead.
All 4 bounties because he snipes that one at the last moment on the Earth Spirit. They're going to get 2 kills and 4 bounties. Suddenly 2K net worth advantage for Gambit out of nowhere.
Yeah. There's the tomes as well being purchased, so. Ooh, Shadow Fiend, 4,500 net worth. He's got the boots. I'm sure the mech is coming shortly if it's not already on him.
I actually saw a game with Liquid that was versus a Medusa. And you'd be surprised how much damage Visage does to a Medusa, like in the mid to late game.
Yeah.
Just before Medusa has that Scotty level 20 talent, I remember Liquid was losing, and I thought they had no chance. And then the Visage lineup just killed Medusa. And in that game, they had a TA in the mid lane, a similar like minus armor physical damage right clicker. In this game, they have the SF, very similar type dynamic. So I'm just fearful for Forward. Like I say it time and time again, I don't think the Medusa has a supporting cast that protects her. They don't have any heavy counter initiation to stop Gambit from being afraid to commit on the Medusa. Yeah, they have the Sand King, but if they have just like a single pipe that's like enough to remove all the damage, and they have these heroes that will build these items, they have the Dazzle, they have the Visage.
FNG, he's baiting this for sure. He's going to turn. The Rip comes out. The Decay has even more support coming in with the heal bomb. Phantom has to realize in the late. Phantom strikes away. Here comes Sand King, though. Ink Spell's applied. Stuns in. Supernova activated in the backlines. Immersion. He's probably dead. Roll. Nope. It's going to be stopped. The Supernova connects, though. And he is caught. Could not shallow grave again. I don't think he still has it yet. Either way, Apodine's Requiem from a big distance there. I don't really know if that hit anyone. And Phoenix able to walk it off.
For a slow.
It's
okay. Just he used it for the slow. Obviously not the way you ideally want to use it, but either way, good rotation from Forward. But that's a lot of heroes just to deter aggression. And it looks like the mid lane's going to be pushed in by the Visage, and bottom lane's still going to be threatened. So if they still want to defend this tower, they'll have to invest more and more resources. And like I said, they got the kill, but they're still losing the tower. And this is what's starting to become scary. Visage has no fear now since all the abilities are used, but he's being a little too ballsy, I would say, with that epicenter still being online. And okay, strongman syndrome, it happens.
Applied that medallion as well, which he has, and you saw just how not tanky all of a sudden he became. So, yeah, I like that strongman syndrome right there. from Visage. He's dead for 15 more seconds. Familiars. He does have the cooldown already, so I don't know if he has some playing around still. Okay, I guess he did.
Had like 5 health. Gets the little last hit there.
There you go. So, life after death.
Yeah, that familiar stun does like 40 damage or something. So, but they're already starting the walk down lanes train.
Let's go.
Shadow Fiend has the mech working towards the Greaves, only about 1,000 off.
Ours
All
level
these
4.
heroes perfectly happy to group up. No egg, no epicenter, no Medusa ult. PA is not ready to fight. Grimstroke's only level 5.
So you're telling me there's a reason Gambit's pushing?
A couple, yeah. Just maybe one. No, one or two.
One or two in there. Helm of the Dominator is just about there as well for Visage. He's a Ring of Health. Again, he's pretty far up here. They might make him pay for this. Spawn is new familiar. Sand King ports in, but looks like Visage realizes he wanted to take those Ancients, at least get some of them, but unable to do so. They protect it. Resolution's going to farm them up instead. That's what they needed. So that would have been pretty brutal if Forward Gaming lost these. Phantom Assassin still trying to find wherever she can. Farming in the mid lane right now, but as the game goes on too, and more push happens from Gambit, obviously that's going to get shorter, smaller and smaller, that is, as far as how much room you do have to farm. Bottom, though, Supernova in. Silence applied to Dazzle. He just keeps running, though. Will be slowed up by the Stork of Fate, but now he has that supporting cast. So the Phoenix Wave goes up, but over to the side of FNG. He rips as well as decays. Ramsey's caught. Slow apply. Magnetize on top of that. Stone Gaze is going to be used for Resolution. Trying to scare them off. Actually stows up a couple. Version gets killed because of it. FNG also too far in. Soul Assumption. Nuke Resolution. He has no mana, by the way, on him. It has been burned through, so he's at half-life right now. Great Pearl Strike's done, though. The Epicenter going to be shutting up. Never mind, Universe. Okay, does actually go off right there on top of F9, but he is too tanky with that Meg. Pops a Requiem, going for the turn kill on the Universe. Not enough damage, and he misses the raise, and he's hiding in that Sandstorm, so Universe going to survive at the time being, as he's still trying to be found by Dazzle, but let's go a little bit south, please. Somebody's dying over there. That's going to be Phantom Assassin, who ends up getting run down. So Universe, hell of an escape, but big picture, I think Gambit's still pretty pleased.
That seemed like worst-case scenario for Gambit, and it still went pretty well. So I think that's pretty indicative of how the next 10 to 15 minutes are going to look. This is the storm phase of the game for Forward Gaming. They have to weather it if they want to make it past this best of 3, because this has been one chaotic best of 3. And is that going to be another 4 runes? No, Phoenix manages to dive past, but suddenly
lose.
Sentry's down bottom lane, just a free kill on Universe. That's 350 gold for a Dazzle, and that's also like momentum in the bottom half of the map. That means that lane's going to get pushed now, and
yeah, that's
dead for 20.
That's another addition to this lineup, by the way. Is then they, God, Ramses is. This is a brutal game for him now. If it wasn't already, that's another death. But obviously, Beastmaster in his own right, very good with the synergy with this lineup. But Dazzle definitely has its own benefits too, from the heal bombs to getting that early Necronomicon and being able to push with it, with the cooldown reduction. Minus armor is huge as well, of course. They're going to kill Roshan. That's a free Roshan. That's an HS now for the Shadow Fiend, probably.
Yeah, you have limited damage output, as I mentioned in the draft, and you're dealing with a Shadow Fiend who's building team items, a Visage who's building team items. Undying Soul Rip, you're dealing with Dazzle Heal. I mean, it's just so much damage they have to do, and they don't have it, I don't think, on the side of Forward. Like, their mid game is just so weak. People think of Sand King as like a damage dealer, but his damage is very flat, and it's on a long cooldown. And then you have these 2 cores that just do not deal damage at this stage in the game.
I was wondering what going into this game what Ramses was going to look to build. I assumed it was not going to be the Battle Fury route, being they have a Medusa. I assume that's still the case, and maybe instead like the Deso first item, or
maybe Vlad's Deso, something like that.
Okay.
Vlad's BKB might have to be the way he goes. It's not a game where you exactly want to build BKB, but even SF alone is enough to threaten you to build a BKB.
God. What a roll. Nice roll into the kick. That's 45 seconds Medusa's out for. I mean, that was a blind roll, too. They had the vision going for the Gambit side, and he just went in blind. He went into the dark. Obviously, he knew he went down there initially, but he hit the angle still. Makes it look easy.
And with no Medusa, their counter push is mediocre, and Sand King doesn't really represent a threat to them without the blink, and he doesn't have it yet. He's still only 1,900 gold, and that means they're not going to choose to go high ground. They think that's a little too much, but they're going to take all the outer tier 2s that all with the lanes pushed. make their way possibly to high ground now. I wonder if they'll force the issue, force the Sand King to come back. I don't necessarily think they have to force the racks here, but make sure all of Forward Gaming's in their base. The PA doesn't want to be here. He's already TP'd though. Sand King doesn't want to be here yet.
Now,
I'm sure they're aware this Blink's almost up.
I was going to say, if Shadow Fiend could be level 15, that would be huge, because remember, that's where he gets that talent.
Oh, yes.
Of affecting buildings. He's only 14. Now, Ramsey's he's going to live Sunray. MSS doing everything he can. He will keep him alive barely.
And they're all in base, so they can chill. I think they can just back off and push in the other lanes, take control of the map, get the tier 2 bottom. Forward knows that they're just going to back off and separate, so they're looking to catch some stragglers. They see the courier, so they know where they're going.
Yeah.
I like how they should do this little vision thing, showing us what only Forward Gaming sees here.
Yeah, it's kind of clever, actually, to get an idea of seeing what they can see, of course. But as we see, it's probably not going to... Oh, maybe. They're coming in near the Roshan pit. They see the familiars. They see several heroes. Resolution just runs in. I don't know. He has a Stone Gate, still kicking it off just yet. Stun in from Universe with the Epicenter doing plenty of damage. The Soulbind comes out as well. FNG dying as well as Doxock. FNG goes down, but Doxock hits the bigger target. Supernova goes off, and Visage will fall. So Magnetize ticking a little bit, but not nearly enough pressure. Shadow Fiend, he's still good to go, though. He's got a Requiem. He's going to be trying to position it correctly here. Ramses gets nuked down. The Raze is coming out. He's able to Phantom Strike forward, but no, he goes down. Requiem canceled by Universe. Now he's going to hide in that Sandstorm. Can't do much hiding, though, when you're dusted up. So as pretty as that start was for Forward, killing Doxock was big, but clearly they did not get enough.
I will say time and time again, they have no backup for Medusa. They just focus the Medusa. And despite losing 1 or 2 heroes, like, Medusa just dies. Lost all of his mana. Couldn't ulti, couldn't manta, couldn't do anything. Just gets stunned and dies. And that's the factor that there's no threat to going on Medusa.
The Familiars are going to help to kill Phoenix. At least they're going to try. Meanwhile, they were just pushing into the base. They had the mid-creep wave pushed. So they force a buyback out of Sand King, at least. And they will get back here. Phoenix is still being run down, by the way. Doxock himself is coming in as well. The Familiar is killing Phoenix, I see up there at the top, and he is going to die in the end.
We do have the level 15 on Shadow Fiend, so these buildings will begin to melt.
Yeah, I'm guessing he got the same talent, of course, with the theme and everything.
I'd be shocked if he did anything different, based on their lineup they've chosen. Up by 10,000 gold, 20 minutes in. Bounty runes are spawning. And that looks like it's probably going to trade 2 for 2, actually, if Forward feels confident to grab the one on their side of the map down below.
There's the Manta, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as Draskell said earlier. This is exactly what Gambit's going for, and, you know, going into just today, it's crazy how one game especially can kind of change your mind and how you're thinking of how things work, because if this was the first game of the series, we hadn't seen this yet, you know, we still don't know how I'd be feeling about it, but knowing especially how Game 2 went, Gambit, this is just a very decisive lead, and it is so difficult to see a situation where Forward Gaming is going to be able to hold and prevent them from doing so much damage here.
Who needs catch when you can just force them to sit in their base?
Yeah.
They have no stuns, but like Forward Gaming can't ignore the push, so this is their way of corralling the opponent, is just by consistently threatening high ground. Every time they see somebody on Forward leave the base, they just say, hey, come back, we're going to push it. And then when they push them back, Shadow Fiend pushes bottom, and the whole cycle resets. And this cycle definitely favors Gambit. They're obviously on a timing to some extent, but this PA is not a hero in this game right now, and probably won't be a hero for a while. And he's threatened. The Spirit Vessel is significant to stop the Sunray heal, but the counter initiation from the Sand King, and who's actually catching who here? I can't tell.
Well, the Epicenter was even used for that, so I definitely think it's safe to say Gambit. In fact, Universe, that's a dieback, remember, too, so very not worth it. And that was all to save the Phantom Assassin in the first place. It just goes back to that. They really cannot even step out of their base without feeling threatened to be jumped. Exactly the situation right there. Sand King's out for 50, so the Presence Sword Aura, it's doing work, amping that damage on the towers, the racks now. Easy racks, Resolution doing what he can.
Ignore him. It doesn't matter. That's the other approach to Medusa. Is the mid-game damage is lacking. Just ignore.
They're going to make their way to the top lane. Got the mid push. Go up here. The rack's already exposed, of course. Sunray's going to be used to push back what he can, but cancel quickly. And into the melee racks now. So as long as Shadow Fiend's close by, it's kind of doing work anyways. There's a push forward on Resolution. And they are going to kill him? Nope. Yeah, they do. He buys back immediately. It's almost like he was saved for a second, but he just buys back. Phoenix, the egg's not going to work. Ramses jumps in, hopes for the best. Resolution comes back in as well. The Requiem right on top, and then the Stone Case pops on FNG, but that's a dieback, and that's probably it. That GGs are called. Gambit. They're going to take out Forward Gaming 2-1, and love the draft. Visage is apparently a hero. If you're comfortable on, you can play well. And really, though, credit to them on teamwork especially. They played as a team very well. Deserve props there.
Absolutely. Very impressed by Gambit's overall game plan in this series.
I do feel like they are a bit of a one-trick pony, like that teams may be able to figure out, but it may take them till after this tournament to figure it out, and they seem very powerful at what they're doing. Overall, though, I feel it's such a funny game to watch Dota because I, as a player, when I'm watching these games, it seems so obvious to me, but when I'm playing myself, there's just so many random things you forget about, when you just don't play against a hero for a long time. And Visage is one of those heroes that you just don't play against very much recently, even though he was very popular about a year ago. And he just threatens to barrel down lanes and kill all your buildings at 20 minutes. And it feels like Forward saw this pick and didn't address it. They didn't seem to care. Like when they picked Sand King, PA, Phoenix, last 3 picks. And I feel like when you have these drafts, you have to address the problems the enemy team presents you with. And you kind of know what to expect too, right? It's not like Gambit has been secretive about the way they plan to win the game. So very well played by Gambit. Look forward to seeing a little bit more of their push strats as the tournament goes on. And, they clearly are playing with a stand-in, but either way, Forward wasn't exactly impressive today.
Well, Gambit moving on into the semifinals, where once again they're going to be matched up against Ninjas in Pajamas. Of course, we saw them defeat Elements Pro Gaming earlier today, 2-1 themselves. So the quarterfinals already off to a fantastic start, both going 3 games, and we have one of our semifinals set up, NiP versus Gambit. Our next one, we're going to find out how it sets up tomorrow as we kick it off with OG versus Vega Squadron. Now, quick note on OG, as we've been casting throughout today, apparently news came out earlier today that PyCat is officially no longer part of the team, and so
I will be replacing him.
BSJ officially announcing it. Let's not do that here.
Sorry, I'm kidding.
No, but so on that note, though, of course, it's going to be very interesting to see who he gets replaced with, and I assume tomorrow it's going to be more of a standing situation, if anything, and we'll go from there. Nothing permanent yet, but that's the plan. OG versus Vega, and then Alliance versus No Pango, as well as our final quarterfinal matchup. That'll also be taking place. In fact, I suppose, there you go. I can show it on screen for you guys. Thanks to Liquipedia, of course. What they do here. And then the final series of tomorrow will be our first semifinals. We will get to cast NiP versus Gambit to finish it all off. So, again, great matches set up here for the WePlay Winter Masters Tournament. It's been a fun tournament so far. Expect that to continue over the next couple of days. I'm competing for that $100,000 prize pool that's on the line. But BSJ, we made it to the end today. We're going to be wrapping up. So, any shout outs, any last words from yourself before we do?
No, I've been good last games. This last series was just very exciting. It felt like the first 2 games the team I didn't think would win or won. So that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
To be surprised by Dota whenever you can be.
Yeah, no, innovative strategies for sure, and well played, and deserving teams winning it in the end. So we're really excited now for tomorrow, but obviously we'll have a bit of a break here. But again, we will be seeing you tomorrow morning and kicking it off with, I actually think Alliance versus No Pango is the first series that we kick it off with. Yeah, that as well, absolutely. I agree there. One of the better group stage teams, no doubt, coming out against Alliance, who's obviously on a bit of a hot streak themselves recently, and consider one of the better European teams right now. So looking forward to that one. We kick it off with that. OG versus Vega to follow, and then NiP versus Gambit. Thanks to Draskell and Gods for joining us earlier as well. They'll be back tomorrow. As far as us, we're wrapping things up. Thank you as always. Have a good night, guys. Again, I was Breaky CPK, joined by BSJ here. The WePlay Winter Madness, day number 2 of the playoffs, wrapping up. We'll see you tomorrow for our first semifinals, eventually followed by the 2 quarterfinals. They have to finish things off with first. So see you then. Have a good night. Until next time.
See you later, everybody.
Last Big Dazzle coming out right there.
Mid?
Interesting. I also noticed, by the way, Alliance banned Tusk as their last ban. Part of me wonders if that was a random, because their time did go down to 0 of reserve time. I noticed, and the chances of them picking Tusk was very small, considering what they had
I think
already.
it doesn't. I think it doesn't random if you have a ban, but maybe you're in terms of like they just didn't have a ban. Actually, they didn't know what to ban, so they just like,
They
it's
just
like
let
this.
yeah, whatever, yeah.
So it
Okay.
might have been random, but yeah, it doesn't. It would actually just not ban anything.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, good point.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dazzle coming out with the final pick. So yeah, I guess mid Dazzle or possibly. Yeah, I don't know. This is a funky
no way
game.
Air Spirit's a core, right? So if it's either mid Dazzle or mid DK, and I think they're deciding it as well. Or
Well, we're gonna
teams are
have.
waiting
So
to pick?
what's going on here? We're gonna be remaking. As you may have noticed, it was a best of 5 that was set up. So the admin made a call that they're gonna remake the game and.
Insania on OD, 5-position OD. I'm just.
What? No, it's just for the sake of the keeping things smooth here. They wanted to make sure to set it to best of 3. I noticed people were pointing that out in chat as well. I had to double check. Yeah, that's best of 5 quarterfinals. Here we go. An extra long day. No, it's gonna be best of 3, guys. So I'm gonna do a quick remake here and into the game. But yeah, very curious draft. So we'll have to wait a little bit longer to see who's playing what before we ultimately enter on in. But I mean,
I think the lanes are going to be super important for both teams. Like, obviously, you want your Nature's Prophet matchup against the weaker lane support against it, which I guess in this case would be Grimstroke if Dazzle's not going to be mid. And then for the DK, you want to avoid the OD like at all costs. It's going to be a lot of, I think, poising for the proper laning stage.
Mm-hmm. I have it set to captains, but that's why. Okay. Trying to find the game.
Oh, I couldn't find it either.
Yeah.
I was wondering about it. Okay.
Good old all pick. So yeah, I have to change that up there. Actually get back into the lobby and get things going here. So, again, guys, as we're in this break, getting things going, this is our first of 4 best of 3s that'll be happening. This will be followed up by OG versus Vega Squadron. And as we mentioned at the end of last cast, just yesterday, PyCat no longer a part of OG. They officially made the statement, just simply the chemistry wasn't there. It wasn't working out. We don't know yet who they're going to be playing with today. I haven't officially heard. BSJ hinted at himself, but no, that's not the case. We are excited, unless there's something I don't know. I mean, going to be leaving us. Well, you're scheduled to cast it, so.
I am a man of many talents. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there it is.
I was going there, stands.
I can see that. No, but that's a very curious move there, and obviously we'll see who they eventually have. But that's extra exciting, though, at the same time. More anticipation for that series.
Absolutely.
And then the winners of these will play each other in the first semifinals, and then after all of that, our final series of the day will be NiP versus Gambit. Gambit, of course, coming off their victory over Forward Gaming yesterday. They looked good. They played some clean Dota, and they deserve that victory. So excited to see how they do against NiP in the final match of the day.
Yeah, I wonder what Peter does, just out of curiosity for that series on the draft, because Gambit was the team that was the one trick kind of picked the snowball mid-game Shadow Fiend minus armor lineup, and I wonder how much they can pull off with their drafts if they get their like signature heroes banned, and if a player like Peter will give them all of their comfort zone picks.
I think if anything, you probably want to just ban the Visage, right? That seems like the hero that is one of the most integral to that strat. Like, I would say if you know Shadow Fiend's coming, you can definitely deal with that pick. But Visage is just one of the annoying heroes that you have to specifically counter, whereas Shadow Fiend has a lot of stuff that you can do to him that he doesn't really...
Maybe they just deny pick it. They have 33 Visage Extraordinaire, so...
That's true. They could do that as well.
So this is kind of interesting how teams are kind of waiting, Alliance specifically, because, again, we weren't really sure who was going to play what, and part of me believes that's what they're doing here. So they got confirmation now. It's going to be Sailor, on the Dazzle. So he's their mid player, and then Ghostic, of course, will be on the DK.
It feels like a bit of a band-aid solution from Nopango, like with the Dazzle mid and stuff. Because, I mean, I guess it's Ghostic DK, so it's 3.
Yeah.
Which I guess is still better, because like I said, you don't really want to put him as a 1 or a 2 in this game. It would just be awful. But then, like, what is his... I guess he just goes, like, Shadowblade or Blink or something in this game. It just acts as, like, a secondary initiation. That would be kind of nice, considering, like, we talked about the dynamic of Earth Spirit versus Oracle and how hard the Earth Spirit game can actually be. Mm-hmm. So maybe if you have another hero that can jump in who's just innately tanky against most of their heroes, that it'll help them in the fights.
I'm just noticing that this is a Mickey tiny. So
It is, yeah.
Technically a one-position tiny. I am curious myself as a one-position player to see what they decide to do with that. Obviously, like you said, they're looking to ramp up the pace of the game, but I feel like tiny as a one hero, I haven't seen that in a long time. At least it's since the last patch.
Yes.
I can't imagine him being like too different from your two-position tiny where you just farm your blink and just go hit stuff. Like it's.
Oh, he's mid on this. Oh my gosh, they're confusing me. So it's a side lane OD and a mid tiny. But okay, I'm going to be dipping out. So.
Okay.
Yeah, any final thoughts, BSJ, as far as who you like?
I mean, I like Alliance's pace of the game. I feel like Morphling suffers with this mid-game pace, but the Dazzle kind of makes up for that. But overall, I think Alliance's draft is just going to be too fast.
All right. Well, there we go. BSJ, as I mentioned, going to be dipping out right here, so myself and Draksy will take over. Real quickly, head over to ES.bet, guys, and you can put your bets in for set odds. I believe it was slightly favoring Alliance. That's kind of expected going into this, but at the same time, again, this is probably one of the closer series we've most certainly had going into it in the first place, not really knowing what to expect. But you head over to ES.bet. You can take advantage of the insurance going on as well here for the WePlay Winter Madness today and then tomorrow, of course, being the finals. But, okay, here we are. Game number 1. This first best of 3. So, yeah, Mickey on the Tiny and then Nature's Prophet in the hands of Boxy. But, again, still ultimately kind of similar idea no matter who is going to be playing what, probably. The pace that BSJ had mentioned. You agree with that pace there, Draksy? That's going to be a fast game from Alliance?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Nature's Prophet is incredibly strong in this meta for that reason. We talked a bit about it yesterday during the games, but like towers and stuff just die so quickly. You don't get the additional armor anymore from like death balling. So it's really easy for the Nature's Prophet to just be the only hero on the team that you need to secure objectives. Because during the early game, there's not really a whole lot on the side of Nopango that can really deal with those treants, even if it's like talking like 5-6 minute tower pushes and stuff. So you got to be really